now on, the things that we're going to be doing, from now on, the things that we're going to be doing are the things that we're going to be talking about. Mainly, yes, we'll get into a liberation discussion, but also we're going to always give people things from this point on, things that can help them. We got stuff that was given to us by this angelic host called Thunderdog, which if you heard me mention on the radio, you need to build you an altar, and you write out, and when you build this altar, you don't worry about nothing financial no more. You don't worry about none of that. Nothing financial, nothing to eat. All your problems should be solved, because now they told us to rejoice because they are blessing the brothers and sisters that's been in the consciousness and on the frequency and all. And most of the people I see in here are not just newcomers. I've seen these people, and I've actually talked to a lot of the people in here, so therefore, we all going to get some juice that's coming down right now. I've already started receiving mine, so I know. So first thing we want to do is we want to call out some gods and all. And I'll just call out the gods and the goddesses, and you say Ashe. Number one, when I say before, now if anybody want to debate me on this, all the religions are one. The same Allah is the same Sut or Aset or combined dual deities, male and female in Hemmitt. It's the same Yahweh. It's the same Atan. It's the same gods. It's the same Heru, which is, you get the word Heru Krishna, that also means the sun in Sirius. So the gods are the same. Anybody got any problem? Because at this particular time, you're supposed to have graduated from the religious state and gone deeper into the spiritual state. And don't think that you're getting spirituality just by being more religious. That's nothing. You see what I'm saying? We've got 140 years of religion and education in this country, and we're the dumbest people on the planet. So therefore, obviously, there's something that's being missed. So we want to get so now also too, I understand this stuff could be long or whatever, but I'm going to give you some things today that you can use for yourself. The first thing we need to do is, you see, when I pour out these libations, you need to do this, because what was given to me by a brother by the name of Brother Juju, who makes jewelry, and I mean, the brother is on it. I mean, because his pieces are coming from the spirit world, and his brother is a psychic in the whole 9 yards that told me some things, and he's all the time talking with the gods. So, do we need to take up the $5 now? Need to pass the hat? Yeah, well, I tell you what, somebody take upon the arms and just pass the hat and take up the little 5 things, because we got to pay the people here, and, you know, and whatever and thing like that. I don't care if I get $40 out the deal. It don't make a difference to me, but, you know, because basically I'm interested in making a good video so people can learn a certain amount of things and stuff. Yeah, whatever. Just go and pass the hat around, and you all, the donation was $5, so you all just put the donation in there, you know, and you know how that goes. And so we can do this. Whatever. If you don't have the change, just wait till he passes it, and then after he passes it, you can, the ones who need change, you can get the change after he passed the hat back. But first of all, just give up the dough. Now, while we're doing that, while we're passing that, we could be calling out the gods. So as I call out the gods, you say Ashe. Allah. Heru. Osar. Aset. Imaya. Oshun. Ogun. Alegba. Babaluaye. Oladarun. Obatala. Oh, come on now. I got all these guys in the head. Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Let me go. When I miss out some, when I miss with some, then you all come with some, okay? Okay, Melchizedek. Metatron. Medurahatan. Apit. Tyert. Newt. Geb. Seb. Heru. Okay, hold on. Let me get these out of my head first, and then we're going to take some of the gods that you know. Okay, El Kadar is one. El Shaddai is one. Jah. Jehovah. Adani. Astarte. Ishtar. Sekhmet. Bath. Beth. Tefnut. Okay, the angelic host, Thunderdog. Ashe. Awas. Ashe. Enoch. Tahuti. Anpu. Elijah. Ezekiel, which is a god. Imhotep, who raised himself to God. Jeshua ben Pandera, who is the Jesus the Christ, the black god Krishna, the black god Buddha, Quetzalcoatl, Nomo. Okay, let's keep on. Okay, let me get some more females up in there now. Asha, what was that? What? Okay. Baal, let's see, Baal or Baal. Mayat. Tired, I said that already. That was who? Sheba, Shakti, Kali, Oya. I already said Osar and I said, yeah. I already said that. Osar and I said the Iminya, I already said it. Boom. Chingo. Ashe, okay, now. All right. Is that enough, guys? I guess we did pretty good with that one. Okay, now, let's do some ancestors known and, okay, gods known and unknown. Ashe, okay, we do it that way. Okay, let's do a little bit of ancestors. I just call out my grandmother Irene Shaw, my grandfather Raymond Shaw, my aunt Mabel Ford, my father Ali Hemmitt Sr., that's my grandfather Ali Hemmitt Sr., my father Ali Hemmitt Jr., Ashe. Now, I just do those, and for the rest of my family, known and unknown. Ashe. Now, let's get some more family going. Huh? Ashe. 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 Give me about two more. Ashe. Now y'all call all yours out that you want to call out together. Ready? Ashe. All right. The ancestors known and unknown. Ashe. I hope ain't nobody living down there underneath this thing at all. Now I got about this much more water to drink, I guess. What? We had to please the gods first. Like I said, what we're going to do is, I guess it's going to be hot tonight, too. I should have brought a towel, too. Well, first of all, what we want to do is, I first started off, I said to mention some things about this ancient devil. And we want to get to the root of this tonight because, really, I set a topic. But what happens is, the Spirit gives me what they want me to speak on. And I guess this was something that was very important at this time that we need to clear up. So that we needed to clear up also was this ancient, this devil form. Now, as you know, like I said, we are right in the middle of these things. I think that everybody here at this particular point should be thinking one day at a time, no more than a month at a time, weeks at a time, because what we are ready for, we're supposed to be the brothers and sisters on the frequency. So we want to catch what's coming to us by not focusing on some doggone Olympics and focusing on whether my child going to graduate from college in the year 2020 and all this kind of foolishness, because we want to be focused to catch the goods that's coming down the tubes and coming down the tubes within this. It's coming down the tubes right now. People are seeing at this particular time several things. Number one, also too, because we want to give the people some things to do. There's a good pill out, the melatonin, that I saw this melatonin that these white people are using now, and I started laughing. I'm saying, oh, look at them. And then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, I could take this too. I said, why? Because number one, I got a messed up diet. We live in the worst area. I mean, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and even if we vegetarians and all, we still can't be 100% pure. You understand? So therefore, I said, well, maybe in this time, and also too, negative thoughts also shut down the actual melanin process also. Because I was speaking to Melchizedek, who is the spiritual overlord, who is my spiritual overlord, is also, his name is Awas or Medura Arton, which is, I was speaking to this particular brother, and I'll get into some deep, in-depth things on what this particular angelic force is. I was speaking to him, and I said, well, listen, based on the knowledge that I had that black people had a cosmic computer inside of their head that was going to open up at a certain time when the actual time cycles do a certain length of time, what we call the great year, after our Earth completes, our sun completes the orbit around Sirius every 26,000 years, which is coming up. They say the year 2000, but we know by this being 10 years behind, the year 2000 is very well upon us now. This is either the year 2002, 2000, anywhere from 2000 to 2004, if we deal with our calendars. You see, our ancient calendars, based the most ancient calendar, the Sothic calendar. I said, so I understood that some things are supposed to be happening. And I said, so that means that our people are supposed to be waking up now. And he said, yes, some of your people are waking up now. He said, but the problem is we wanted this cosmic computer to open up. But the negative thoughts that your people have shuts down all the process of what we're trying to give them. So that's just like the rays coming in and can't find a way in and it's bouncing back off based on the way we think. As a man and woman thinketh in his heart, so is he or she. So therefore, I said, Then when I got these melatonin, I saw these melatonin things, I said, well, hey, anything we can do helps. Well, it says that it's supposed to be a sleep aid for white people. And also I have a whole article on this particular melatonin. It's supposed to be a sleep aid for white people. So I got some, and every black person that I gave some, it keep them up. One sister from Jackson, she took some, couldn't go to sleep. And so what it does to white people, to put them down or to give them a sleep aid, it actually picks us up. Well, my sister she took some, and she said that her third eye jumped open in the goddess segment. She saw the goddess segment. A couple of other people have taken some and have multiple dreams. Now, I don't dream nothing for some reason. I started taking these things, and I started having multiple dreams. So this is another thing. You can get that, I think they sell it down at Life Essentials. They had some. I don't know if they sold out now because I put the word out, and a few people went and got some. But anyway, this is some other stuff that we need to start doing also, too, to catch some of this juice. But like I said, there's a lot of things that's going on and I'm going to get to this because once I go into this particular science, we're going to go into what happened from April the 4th to April the 10th. On one of my tapes, I think it was Set Typhon 4, I told you that April the 4th through April the 10th was supposed to be a cosmic doorway that was opening up in time, and the last time that kind of energy was on the earth was 90,000 years ago. Well, this is the first time I've been back to Atlanta to explain the whole detail, so we're going to go into that at a certain point, too, because there was a certain amount of brothers and sisters that went to the Pinson Mounds in Jackson, Tennessee, and we unleashed this native, I don't want to say Native American, I say native indigenous spirit called Thunderdog. He is the angelic counterpart, or he is the native, let's say, we put the word native indigenous person in this hemisphere, native westerner. He is the native westerner counterpart of the god Heru. So we unleashed this thing, and he gave us some juice and gave us everything we need, and he's also came back to Atlanta with us. Now, these are things that's in the spirit realm. Now, I know some of this thing might sound spooky, but remember, just like I told one of the brothers in the nation, every time, I bill on all this, and he get down with it. But every time I started going into things in the spiritual realm, he started laughing. I said, now, see, you contradicting yourself. Now, I remember back in 1991, you had to take on about 15 brothers out there. Intellectuals was in the Afrocentric community where you told them that the black man and black woman was God. And you bared witness, and you had to take on all these people, and they all laughed at you. How can you be a God and let a devil rule over you? And the whole 9 yards. I said, now, when it comes to bearing witness, and we got the full manifestation of black people going back into their godhoods, you don't want to deal with it. And I said, I can understand because the Christian religion has made a mockery out of everything that they call divine revelation. We got so many doggone preachers talking about God told me this and God told me that. So they have made this thing they have messed it up completely. So when the Jews start coming, we don't really know whether the brothers and sisters are really on it or not. You say, I really can't believe those things. For the simple fact, we got so many people coming to us telling us this is what's happening and that is what's happening. One of the main keys is how you can be true to your own spirit is if anybody is telling you to follow them, those are the people to get away from at this particular time and circle. You don't supposed to be following nobody but yourselves because you are the actual Elohim that's going to put this stuff back on. They say the 144,000. The 144,000 is actually, the 144,000 is not 144,000 people left over. That's crazy. Because in that case, we'll be out of that shot because they got people, indigenous people around the world that live more spiritual than we do. Now, I'm not talking about them crazy fools over in Africa, this. And when I say that, I'm talking about because they call us crazy. I'm saying I'm not talking about the ones that has been into what you call colonization and then come over here and say we still pure Africans. They have been brainwashed like everything, too. But I'm talking about the indigenous people in South America and the indigenous people around the world who still live a harmonious life. There's over 100,000 of them, so why can't they get on the ships first? You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't even make that cut just by bad thoughts, even if we tried to be the best we could be. But we got 80 million black people in Brazil alone. So the 144,000 does not just mean 144. Yeah, we got 40 to 60 million black people here now. They say it's about 60 million because we don't know what they can count. They say the census, you know, if they tell you one thing, you might well add a couple of million to that. You see what I'm saying? Based on population purposes. But we have about 60 million black people here alone. Now, 144,000 means that 99.9% of all of us would not make the cut. We dead people. So what's the reason for even talking? Hey, let's go and get after this malt liquor bull right now and go out and start partying and, you know what I'm saying and stuff. I go put on me a G-string right now and stuff and go down someplace. The point I'm trying to make is the 144,000 is actually talking about the 144 light bringers. You are the people that is on the frequency to actually bring the light and help your other people. So people say, what do you mean by that? Another thing people have been coming to, and I know you can bear witness to this because I had to go through this on my first stage of liberation. People come up to me now and they say, you know, I'm bearing witness to this and I'm getting to this and I'm studying, but I got a problem. The brothers and sisters that's in my family, my mama or my sister, they don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I be coming to talk to them and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And they don't want to hear it. All of you have that problem. You understand? All of us. And you're concerned about them because you love them. So when I come up and start talking all this stuff about destruction and giving you things, and even with stuff that you being witnesses, you know this stuff is coming down because you see the news every day. You see what I'm saying? You saying, but I still, one of the main things is because I know you just like me. I can't stand to be lifted up and don't want to take my people with me because I love my people. You see? So the same thing what happens is you are concerned about your parents, your uncles, your cousins that does not want to bear witness, that would rather die than to bear witness to this knowledge, this superior knowledge. And we're not even talking about no spaceships or nothing. We're just talking about regular Chancellor Williams and Stolen Legacy. You know what I'm saying? Or either J.A. Rogers. We're just talking about regular black history that they don't want to even bear witness to. You know, I don't want to hear that black stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or they go, oh, well, let's go do something black today. So now we have a problem. So we have a problem when they decide. We have a problem with those people, and I know this is on all of your minds, and this is how this thing goes with this 144,000. You are the 144,000, the ones that's tapped in that's going to actually bring the light to the planet. Don't look for anybody coming down in ships, because guess what? You are the ones that's going to be on the ships. You are the terrestrial federation. You are those. You have a higher self. And when you meet up with your higher self, you already have the mission that you're supposed to do. Because right now we are all trying to get to a level that you say, I want to know what I want to do. That's one of the other questions. I want to know what is there to do. Now, the key to this whole thing is based on your family is each one of you are a representative of some family members for some family members and also some friends that you know. You understand what I'm saying? So when the things start going down, you can go, wait a minute, I know what's going down. You know what I'm saying? I'm into this. Then you can tell them, well, this is what's going on, and they will be glad to listen then because their word will be falling out or behind them. Now, Melchizedek already said, you don't have to worry about it, Bobby, because I got upset, like I said on some of my other tapes, because he was saying, man, this thing is over. We got to really clean this up. It's not getting any better. And he said, but don't worry. He said, because at a certain time, all of your people will know at a certain time, and they will have to make that choice. But it's going to be cut and clear. You see what I'm saying? Because number one, they're not going to have this beast around them still telling them that he's God, and they believing he's God in their minds. You see, because that's what's happening. You understand? So therefore, they're going to be made to face this decision. And this way you come in being the light bringers. You are a representative of your family. Now let's just say if each person in here knew about 25 people. You see the maximum. And we got about 50 people in here. You understand how much people that is? You see, and then once they get down, they tell the rest of the people, I know this thing's supposed to go faster than this, but this is the type deal is that you are the ones that's supposed to be on this frequency, and you are a representative for your family. For every black person that's running around in the street crazy, they're supposed to be crazy. This is the end of the world. If it wasn't the end of the changing over of the new worlds or whatever, there wouldn't be crazy. There wouldn't no need for me to even be up here speaking. You understand? Wouldn't no need for the Spirit to take me off of what I was doing a few years ago. So therefore, how it goes down is you are the representatives of your family. It's like to say, well, you can go out and act like a fool, but I'll bear the burden for you. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like the whole 9 yards. Certain things that you don't supposed to be doing now because you're supposed to be in consciousness. So therefore, for all the other 50 million black people that's out acting like a doggone fool, you bear the burden for them, just as I have to bear the burden for them too. You understand what I'm saying? So certain things I won't do based on consciousness now, you see. Another thing is because I guess I'm going to go into this stuff, but I want to clear the space and try to get the spirit running. Another thing is we understand that, and this is the key to this whole clincher. A lot of our brothers and sisters want all of what is. They want all the knowledge and they want all that's coming to them, but they want it inside of America that don't want to fall. See, that's not going to fall. See, they want to get all of this juice, and then they want to have the juice and keep on going and keep this society going. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't have the cake and eat it too. Something has got to leave. Number one, we know that they got to tear down these buildings because the white man, based on New York, Chicago, and all these places, is he tried to imitate Hemmitt. So, based on Hemmitt, everything being from spiritual to physical, they didn't even take a plan, not unless it was spiritually thought out, until they built. Based on that, they tried to copy Hemmitt, and all they just started doing was building. So, therefore, they got all these tall buildings on the earth, and now they got a wobble in the earth based on these buildings, because these buildings are just like man-made mountains. Remember, Nostradamus said a city with man-made mountains will be under attack in the whole 9 yards. He's talking about New York City. But the whole key to that whole thing is that it's got a wobble in the earth because the actual buildings and stuff has got the earth out of balance. So that means you have to tear down this civilization. So what we think of as beautiful architecture and all is actually a destruction, and it's against all laws of nature. So therefore, like I said before, Brother Raw Neff Armin Ra came here and on the radio called me this doomsday prophet. You see what I'm saying? We got to be aware of these doomsday prophets. And my point is this. With the hell that our people are catching, like I said, the hell that our people are catching, why wouldn't somebody in their right mind want this to be over? If this is the doggone system that's keeping our people down, and we know that the only way this system is going to be over, the white man ain't going to just go, okay, we're going to let you do what you want. It's to fall. So now you're going to tell me, and you know the only way the cracker is going to get up off of this is through physical annihilation, both with the skin cancer that's killing his behind and both with the ships. And like the brother said that they built, it was $9 billion that they put in the Hubble telescope, not just to watch and take no pictures of no stars. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, why wouldn't you want this to end? That's the key I want to make. You understand what I'm saying? My other thing is this here. Why don't you talk about the doggone beast that's keeping your people? Didn't Jesus do it? Didn't Jesus say, be ye as I am, or be like me, be perfect as I am? So therefore, why wouldn't you speak out against injustice, right? You understand? Why would you? I mean, it's too late in the game to sit up and try to code stuff when the white boys is even talking about the New World Order. They got out books. They even put it in their movies. And then we still something they're talking about. Well, I don't get into all of that. You understand what I'm saying? What is this? I don't get into all of this. I don't believe in the motherships. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Ben telling everybody he don't believe in the ships. Oh, I don't believe in the ships. But yet he's supposed to have 360 degrees of knowledge in the mystery system. Well, see, I wouldn't be one to sit up and talk about that if I didn't know what I was talking about, because I would be from the outside looking in. So therefore, I said I wouldn't know what Dr. Ben and them got in the so-called mystery system that they supposed to have put together. You see what I'm saying? That he gonna tell people, if I see a spaceship, I'll run. You see, I don't know what he would have in his particular mystery system. But then again, I'm not one from the outside in. They stripped me naked in spring of 19 in the summer of 1991, and I went over in Dr. Ben's so-called mystery system. You see what I'm saying? Right here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta branch and all. I know they got the Kunepa Lodge in New York City. They got the Ramesses Lodge in New York City. I also went to a consecration to a lodge in Washington, D.C., who Tony Browder is a part of. And the point I'm trying to make is this whole 360 degrees of knowledge, and I don't believe in ships. Where even in your Bible it says Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the sky. And most Christians can bear witness to that. You see what I'm saying? But see, the whole key to that is nothing else but an Afrocentric version of Masonry. Now, it would be bad if he said, well, listen, we got Prince Hall Masonry, which we ain't got nothing but some black people drinking liquor and driving cabs. I can understand that. If he said, we got Prince Hall Masonry, we got 2 million Prince Hall Masons, and out of 2 million Prince Hall Masons are supposed to know this particular knowledge that they don't want to give up to my secrets. Out of those 2 million Masons, we still in all this doggone trouble. And that ain't including the other lodges that's outside of Prince Hall. It's the Black Lodge. You know, Smooth, Ashler, and all this stuff. I'm a Mason. I know what I'm talking about. I can understand if he said, well, we want to do an Afrocentric version to put the liberation into it and try to use some of these keys. But don't tell people that this is the actual mystery system that was never folded. It was still going on in Kemet, which is a doggone lie. You see what I'm saying? Which is a lie, because I know what I'm saying, because I was a member of that, you see. And what happened was it would have been a beautiful organization, but once you told people that you got 360 degrees of knowledge, then you tell them this is the ancient mystery system that never folded. That means that any other brother out here that's speaking any kind of common sense, oh, I got to check it out with Dr. Ben, because he's the one that got the 360 degrees of knowledge. We're in the real mystery system. So that means everything that anybody else say is null and void and not valid. And this is exactly what went on. Whereas when they first opened this thing up in the first early 1990s, 1980s in New York, you had over 300 members, and now you're down to about 25, you see. So this kind of foolishness is actually going on. But like I said, I could see if he had this particular thing the way he wanted to lift up the type of Masonic thing. Another thing I wanted to say also, too, is if they were right, why don't the sisters be in the Masonic Lodge? Whereas, like I said before, that the white boys put them in the Masonic Lodge. And like somebody came to me and said he told the Prince Hall Mason that. They said, oh, that's some bullshit. Well, you can go get C.W. Ledbetter's book, Ancient Mystic Rites, where they show you Annie Besant, who was a 33rd degree Mason, and Blavatsky, who was a 33rd degree Mason, and a whole host of women that's Masons, you see. So if anything, we need to put the sisters down, but like I said, I always said, too, down for what? To have some handshakes and some pass and sing some stuff for them. I got a light that need to shine, and let this light shine on me, and this whole 9 yard of Negro spirituals in the lodge. So therefore, is it hot in here? Oh, I tell you. But anyway, but therefore, these are the things that's going on. So now people are saying, well, brother, if he knew, he said that this brother knew what time it was, he could soak the Oracle of Tahuti. Well, I'm saying if you know what time it is, and you teaching people meditation over at Osiris Society, why don't you tap in and find out what's going on? If I'm talking some bull jive, and if you tapped into God, there's no way that you're going to get on the radio and say that you don't want to speak on things because you don't want to offend white people. That's what time it is right now. If a person ain't standing up right now, that's bull jive. If you can get Khalid Muhammad that can stand up one man and talk about the white man like a dog to his face, that means there ain't no room for no more doggone conservatism. You got to come out with it. And at this time, if a brother ain't coming out with it and telling you what time it is, you don't need to mess with him. And number one, every brother that come out with you, you tell him, look, you're going to be with me. We are all one people. We don't follow nobody. Nobody follow me. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, I don't have nothing to hide because I'm not asking nobody to follow me nowhere. I'm not asking for no money. I'm not asking you to do these things and all the way you got to get a certain amount of clothes and where you got to do this type thing and meet me at a certain day and bring me all your goods. I ain't telling you to go get on welfare and you take the doggone food stamps and give them to me, as some brothers is doing. Now, I'm not saying that some of the people didn't need leading, but the point I'm trying to make is this is what time it is, and you are the people on the frequency, you see. So let's get into what's going down. Number one, because I want to go right into this, and what I want to go into is this particular ancient devil and some other things that I found. And I got a new book that I'll have printed up by next week called AWAS, The White Man's Devil of Darkness in the Light of Evolution. Like I said before, that the actual devil that you are afraid of in your religions, and the devil that the white man is telling you all about, this particular Satan, is his devil. That's not your devil. That is the Most High God. Now let's go into this. We talk about, isn't it funny? You got two kind of mythologies in ancient Kemet. You have the Osirian drama in ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, which gives you Osiris, Osar, Aset, Heru, Nephthys, or the evil adversary Set, who is the brother, who is the red-haired Egyptian Judas. Well, that's funny. You have that one starting, I don't know, you can say anywhere from a couple of thousand years ago. But then all of a sudden, there's another particular mythology that predates that in the Temple of Dendera that I always talk about. It has the mother Tyr and Apit in the first, and like I said, she is sister in the constellation of Draco, which is the triple blackness of space, and she has her son, and the first son that she has is called Set, or Soot, which means the black one. Now, I said I'm confused with this when I first heard on it. Now, number one, I have been studying this thing for the last 5 or 6 years, and I consider myself an authority on this Set Typhon, because one of the things is I got one of the books on Set Typhon that was never published that I had to go steal from Emory. And as a matter of fact, the Spirit is telling me now to publish that and give that to you also, too. So we'll Xerox those things and give it out to the people also, too. Which is a study on the second Set Typhon, the gross one, the one who raped Heru, or tried to rape Heru. This particular second Set Typhon, who it says is the prototype in this book, it says is, because some people don't have a problem calling the white man the devil, but why should I say something about calling the white man the devil where it's in the heretic papyrus of the British Museum, calling the white man the doggone devil, saying that he is Set Typhon is a typical foreigner. Then it locates those foreigners, saying those foreigners live in the mountains in Asia. Now, we understand that there was no Europe at that time, so Asia that they was talking about, they also located and called them the barbarians that have a restless nature, always grumbling. He has a restless nature. He is driven to drink, which they said that beer was one of Set Typhon's actual drinks in the whole 9 yards, and I understand that because Set Typhon damn sure put it on us, too, with that old English 800. But the point is, here's the heretic papyrus of the British Museum that's calling them the devil. Some people say, well, I don't want to get into that to call a man the devil. But see, now, the particular devil that the actual people was dealing with, they was not dealing with this spookology, mythological devil that don't exist. That devil doesn't exist. The one that you all scared about, it doesn't exist. They was dealing with the formula of the nature of man and woman. Everything that was in the religion, whether you go from the Bible to the Quran, to the Bhagavad Gita, to the book of the coming forth by day, is the nature of the reflection of the black man and black woman. This is the key. They say that mythology alone is nothing but a reflection of the original people that walked on the planet. So now when they talk about the nature, and they talked about it when the priest was giving it down on this second Set Typhon, when they was giving it down, because there's two Adams in the Holy Kabbalah. There's the Adam Kadmon, which means the heavenly man, and the original man, and then there's the Adam, which is the animal man. But the same thing comes with the Set Typhon, which they borrowed it from. There's the Set Typhon 1, who is Soot, which means the black one, and then there's the Set Typhon 2, who is in actuality the red-haired Egyptian Judas, who they say is this particular barbarian or this particular white man. Based on that, I also have the book, The Human Artificers, and we have all this documented. But the key to this whole thing is when we trace back to the original God, his name is Set too. Now, this particular original God that was named Set was also, what happened was worshipped by the ancient African Set Nussi in Nubia, or Set Nubit in Nubia, Set Nussi in Ethiopia, that later on will become Atan, and later on become God that you know of, and Yahweh. But at one time in ancient Kemet, what happened was you had a breakdown, and you had the priests started conspiring against each other, and one of the best books you can get is Gerald Massey's works that explains this, I think, in detail, and his stuff does go in a lot of detail, is in his book of the Beginnings, which it explains that what happened was you had the priest of Amen and the priest of Osiris joining together. Now remember, now these principles are all the same as the first religion. It's no different than the doggone Baptists and the Methodists breaking off from the Baptists. But remember, we understand that they're still talking about the same God. It's just we're talking about a social function that goes on when man starts to break down, and based on the social function, you would have a different not a different ideology or different religion. You would have another variation of that particular religion. Well, the same thing happened in Kemet. You had the priest of Osiris and the priest of Amun came together, which they were both one and the same in the first place. And they conspired against the priest of the first mother and child called Set, the priest of Set. And therefore, what happened, like I told you in one of my other videos, was now we understand that the Hyksos kings that came into Kemet, those Hyksos kings did not come in from some other foreign place, because now we understand that the Hyksos people, they followed Set. They followed Heru. And come to find out that the actual Hyksos people, now here you are the most magnificent dynasty on earth. You are the thing. You got the army and you got everything. And then all of a sudden, you're going to let some nomadic people come in and take over a place as big as that would reach from here to Washington, D.C., and you get a few scoundrels that's going to come in. It didn't go down that way. What had happened was you had people, all you had was a branch of the ancient Egyptians or the ancient Hemmites taking over. You just had the same people. They were the same people, but one of them, one priesthood got to jump on the other. So the priesthood of Set, after they was overthrown by the priesthood of Osiris, Amun, Osir and Amun, about the 15th dynasty, this particular priesthood was none other than black Egyptians or Kemites, just actually overthrew the other priests. And as a result, even Dr. Ben said that they wiped out a certain amount of history because they were too embarrassed to tell about it. But in actuality, what had happened is, as Master explained it, which makes more common sense to me than some outside invaders coming in and invading with a religion that's fundamentally Egyptian, those particular people that invaded was nothing but the actual priesthood that took over around the 15th dynasty that they call the Shepherd Kings or the Hyksos Kings. When they took over, they were actually worshiping the original form of the god Sut-Typhon and his son. Are y'all all with me? Everything all right? Because get the tape and you can go over this thing and study it. They worship the original Sut-Typhon and the mother and the son. The Typhon means the great mother. The Sut means Sirius, which is the first light born out of her. And like I said before, because this particular god, she's the triple blackness of space. And she's so black that she can't even see herself. No one can see her, so she reveals a reflection of herself. Now, the reflection of herself is her son that takes a number 7 netter axe and cuts her vagina open at the south gate, just as the baby is born on the actual microcosmic female, which is the black woman, which is the God of the universe also. And he reveals himself as the first star of all the stars, and that particular first primordial star is the star Sirius. But remember, in order for him to make something a law, he has to become it first. So because man and woman is on the earth plane is a law, they were once, this particular God once was a human soul, or he is a human soul, or he was a human soul, which you call God. So therefore, this is why you are not unlike him. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm, because that particular first God in heaven was a human soul. Now, as I said before, a lot of sisters say, well, why are you saying he is God? Because I say the breakdown of this is God has a mother, and that mother is the triple blackness of space, the womb of the universe, which is the Lot, L-O-T, or the Law, which means Layla, which means the triple blackness of space, and the reflection of herself is her son El, El, which means son. So you get the twofold word Allah, which means mother and son, which means the blackness and the reflection of the blackness where you come to light. Now hold on to that, because when we get into this stuff on the devil, I'm going to show you some things and show you, because you got to think light and dark. You got to think triple darkness, and you got to think the light that is reflected from the dark. Okay? So now this particular soot that is being a reflection of the actual mother is the first mother and child, which was the original religion that was worshipped and was re-worshipped by the Set worshippers of the Hyksos kings. After so long, what, about 150 years, they got kicked out. Now, when they got kicked out, some of them, before they even got kicked out, they had migrations of people that were migrated out of Kemet years and years before the Hyksos kings even started. When they got kicked out, they took their God with them. The God that they took with them at this particular time was the God of ancient Samaria, which Samaria is nothing. Because the white man going to give you this thing. The white man, he'll tell you that Samaria is older than Egypt, because he want to give you something to tell you that Samaria is white. Remember, all of those things was white. Babylon, Samaria, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, as even Hakeem Bey came and told you that all of that was black people. The first 300 years of Greece was black. Or come to find out that even longer than that, when we just call it Greece. Probably was another empire before that, because we know we got empires buried on top of empires. But we know that Samaria, that the white man is trying to say now that the Sumerian text is older than the Hemmitt text. We say, well, we don't need to argue about that because they were black people too. And we understand that Samaria and all those were one group of people. Just as we know Ethiopia, ancient Kush, and all those are one different people. One group of people, the same actual prototype. Even in early Arabia, and the black Arabian that is there now is one of the same family of the Kushites. This is how Muhammad, who was half, some people say a white man, I say half white and half black because Diop says that his grandfather was black, so that means he's black. So this is why Muhammad knew to tell Bilal, who was an Ethiopian, not a slave, he was the right-hand man to him, told him to go back to Ethiopia where the gods are never wrong. And that's why we have the actual Islam religion is nothing but a carbon copy of the ancient Falasha religion, because even when we look at that, and they say Beta Israel, because Falasha is a derogatory word, as Dr. Ben says. But we talk about the Ethiopian religion, we talk about that same Aton, which is an Ethiopian god, which was worshipped by Akhenaten, whose mother was Ethiopian. That same Aton is none other than the actual Allah, which is also talking about the actual sun, because Aton is also called Heru on the horizon. And these things interconnect. So this whole Ethiopian family and the Sumerian family and the Babylonian family is all one people. So when they even try to front that thing, we know it's all one people. Because now we're going to the actual Sumer. Now in ancient Sumer, they took the god with them. And the god that they took with them was the god that was this soot, is later on called Awad, this Sumerian name, by a group of actual people in the Sumerian people called the Yazidi, Y-E-Z-I-D-I, the Yazidi. Now, it says that Awad, ancient Awad, Alistair Crawley says that this Awad was his holy guardian angel, was identified with the star Sirius, or Set Isis, because Isis is also called the soul of Sirius. Now, it says that Awad is a formula unlike any angelic name. They say he's not just this mere angelic formula that is a certain aspect of the God, but it's got certain pulses, but they are not the most high. They say he's unlike any other angelic name, but is the true and most ancient name of the gods of the Yazidi, and thus is the true most ancient God, and thus returns to the height of antiquity. What that means is whatever this God was by the name of Awad would return one day. He is the god Set, which is the first original god in his Sumerian form called Awad. His name is also Awaz, that also is the god Bez in Kemet, that I'll explain in a few minutes. Now this particular god comes, and he takes on this particular, he's in the actual Samaria, and it's called the Yazidi. Now if you study any type of things, and if you want to study on the true nature of the devil or the God, you're going to have to go a little deeper than the Bible, because the Bible is the mythological counterpart of the exoteric religion of a greater esoteric meaning, which is in your Holy Kabbalah. Now, if you have the time, one of the good books to get on the Holy Kabbalah is Waite's Holy Kabbalah, and also Dion Fortune's Mythical Kabbalah. There's several Kabbalahs. Another good book you need to get, and I thought I brought it with me, is a book that breaks down, because, let me get into this, because some of you are going to find out what your numbers are based on numerology. You're going to find out what your master numbers are. And once you find out what your master numbers are, you can also find out what attributes of the gods and goddesses that you are also too. So therefore, one of the good books to get is Alistair Crawley's book, Alistair Crawley's 777 and Other Kabbalistic Writings. Good book because it has the key scales, and it has all the Egyptian gods, all the Hindu gods, all the Greek gods, and it has the numbers. And if your number is a number 5, if you look, this is what you are in Hemmitt, this is what you are in Hebrew, and this is what you are in Greek, and this is what you are in Rome, and the whole 9 yards. One of the key books to get, because this is a book of correspondence, and they give you all the numbers that correspond. And you might have 2 or 3 numbers in your breakdown, but those particular numbers will add up to what God you are on the frequency and what your attribute is. So that's a good book to get, is the Kabbalistic writings of Aleister Crowley, 777. And 777 is the number of the first most primordial God set, Soot. What's that? Oh, this one, did he sit down? On here? Oh. Well, you use the number of God, or the number 7, the base root, the number 7, which is the number of God. Is that back on? Okay, which is the number of God. So those are some things that you need to get is that book so you can correspond. All right, now let's go on. As I said before, that this particular God was the true God, and this particular God would return one day. This God would return. Now, we understand that this God returned again in 1904 to give the white man the extension, because his extension was supposed to be gone in 1914. I thought all that was some crap that Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking. But if you go and read any of the actual diaries of the secret societies of the late 1800s and the early 1900s, they were trying to do exactly that, was to try to get this particular time continuum. And one of the good books is the Aleister Crowley, a book called The Heart of the Master, $9 book. And some of the stuff in the book you can't understand, but the first 5 or 10 pages is nothing but a bibliography on all of the white people trying to get their stuff together, also so they can make this time continuum. Aleister Crowley was the person that made this time continuum by visiting Cairo, Kemet in 1904. When he visited Cairo, Kemet in 1904, he and his wife, Rose, he was like 22 years old, and they were on vacation. And so they were on vacation. So what happened was, he came in, and while it was in Kemet, his wife kept saying, she kept going into trance saying, Heru is waiting for you, or Horus is waiting for you. And so when she went into trance, he took her to one of these museums and said, I want you to find what was actually summoning you. And she came up on this particular stela, as I told you before, you've all seen it before, was this particular slate that was in one of the museums. And once he took this particular slate, he was able to write up an invocation and invoke Heru. And as he invoked Heru, Heru came to him in the form of Awas, which is his speech part. Awas is the speech part of Heru. Heru is the Lord of silence, but his speech counterpart is the Lord Ra Heru Kahudi, or Awas. So he says, a voice of Awas came apparently over my left shoulder in the furthest corner of the room. It seemed like an echo itself in my physical heart, but very strange manner. And I heard a very strange manner, hard to describe. Okay. Then he says, where I told you before, he describes this particular brother. Now remember now, this is an actual, now number one, the reason why I said it, the reason why I have to keep quoting this particular science is, number one, they had to take this man and make this man this spooked out, devil worshiper, and this wicked man in 2 or 3 bibliographies, because they didn't want the world to know what this particular white boy had tapped into, which the white boy is saying. Now, you got to understand the metaphysics of this is the reason why I keep saying it over and over again, and why I keep saying it is because this is the juice that has come to us as black people in the Western Hemisphere about a couple of months ago. So we got to understand this. Now, he says that he comes in over his shoulder. Number one, he says that the most ancient god of Samaria was Awad. That's one of his names, but he goes all the way back to Soot, who is Atan, who is Allah, take it or leave it, who is Yahweh. It's the same God. He goes back to this first blue-black god, Soot. Now, this is the metaphysical part that I want you to add in your minds on what time it is. Number one, he says he's identified him as God. We know that God has a mother. Awas even comes back to him later on and tells him that he has a mother. I'll read it a few minutes ago. Now, he identifies him as the Most High. He just said that he is not a mere formula, but he is the most true ancient God of the Yazidi. Y'all stick with me because it's going to get heated up in a minute. when I go into this whole devil thing, and I'm going to show you how the white boy is dealing. He says that he's the most ancient God who is God, the same most high. All right? So now, the reason why they had to actually destroy this and the reason why they kept this from us for the last 80 to 90 years is because they knew that the black man and black woman was none other than God, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as well as other ones, were saying exactly the rightful truth. Where he says, now he's saying, this God, the most ancient God, he said, he comes, he seemed to be a tall, dark man in his 30s, well-knit, attractive, with the face of a savage king. That means African king. He's giving you the indication, or he's giving his white people the indication, or no, this is not just a dark man of Arabia that you can say, well, he ain't black or something. No, he said he's savage. Remember that they called the African savage at this time, because this was still during the time of a middle of colonization, where they had already colonized Africa. You understand? So he said, I'm going to give you the right and exact of what the most ancient God of the world is. He's a savage king, which you can say that is an African king, right? Okay, he says, his eyes veiled, lest they gazed, they would destroy what they saw. Remember now, Moses went on the mountain and they told him not to look in the whole 9 yards. He couldn't look. Same Jews. So they're talking about a black man. The dress was not Arab, but suggested Syria or Persia, but very vaguely, because you know how it is. Y'all into the Bible thing also, too. And you want to see somebody with a long flowing robe and that whole 9 yards. So he's giving you this suit, because he ain't coming in no doggone suit now. You know what I'm saying? He says, I took note of it, that Awas was an angel such as I have seen in visions, but purely astral. Okay? He said, I incline that Awas was not only the god or demon or devil. Check that out now. Number one, he identified, now we're getting into some funky Jews here now. Here's the man that identified him as the Most High. Now, I done checked out my studies, and they go to the same deal. I'm going to give you some references that you need to deal with. Here's the man that identifies him as the Most High God. Then he turns around and says that Awas is not only God, demon, or devil, once held holy in ancient Sumer, but my own holy guardian angel, but also a man as I am. So he's already identified him as being a man, so he ain't no spook. He's a black man. He's already said he was black. He already said he was God. He already said he's a man, but he already said he was the devil also, which we're going to get into. He said he is a man as I am. He says, insofar that he uses a human body to make a magical link with mankind on which he loves. And he is the epiphanious head of the AA. Now, the AA means Argentine Ostrom, which means the silver star, which means Sirius. Okay? Which means Sirius. Now, what he's saying is this. He's saying he is the head of Sirius. Now, go back and check in your Quran. Your Quran says what? This is the God that made male and female from one single ejaculated semen and will create all things anew. He is the Lord of Sirius, or the head of Sirius. Well, he already told you that the head of Sirius is a black man also, okay? Now, it says that on April 8th, 9th, and 10th, this book is dedicated by Awas, a being who I do not fully understand, but describes himself as the minister of Heru Parkrat, Lord of Silence. Now, he's saying he's the minister. The minister means the speech. I am the speech and the spoken manifested God of another God who is the inside spirit, or who I am and who my people are, that's dead in the United States and all over, which has got to rise again. Y'all all with me? Now, he's given them this particular book. He said this book contains a scientific demonstration that possesses a knowledge and a power quite beyond anything I have seen hitherto associated with the human faculties. Now, in this book, he says, this book announces and replaces the moral religion and sanctions of the past, have everyone broken down by the principles valid of each man and each woman, and self is evidently independent or something, whatever. Now, Tell you, the ignorance of the true meaning of the law, he's talking about with all these other religions, which we know that those religions were pure now. He said the ignorance has led to gross anarchy. And it is in proper sense, the sole cure of political and social and racial unrest that has brought the world to world war and catastrophe in Europe, America, China, India, and Islam. He's talking about the world, and he's talking about the world that is on top at this particular day, not the ancient, you see. When we say Islam, he's talking about Arabia of this particular, these sheikhs and all, that is also the beast also. Now, he says, come ye, the children of the Lord of the Eon, the crown and conquering child, Heru Raha, I call ye to partake in this sacrifice, in this sacrament. Now, what he's saying is, the children of Heru, he's saying the children of Heru. Now, the children of Heru is the children that is born out of Heru's eye. You know the eye of Heru is also the black dot, which is melanin. So the children of Heru are the ones that's born out of his eye. That's also the children of Ra and the children of also Set, which is the first form of this God, which Set means the black one. Okay? Say born out of his eye. He said take your field out of the sky. Take your field. Now what he means is this particular book he gave him was the actual book. Now, the reason why we can't understand this book, because this book is a breakdown of the nature of who we are. Just like all of the other biblical references was actually the breakdown of what we were, more than it was some fairy tales and stories. Yeah, they give you those fairy tales and stories, but like I said, unfortunately, most black people have never graduated from Sunday school, basically. You see what I'm saying? Even the preachers have never graduated from Sunday school. They just put a little flavor on that and learn how to holler a little bit better and get on your emotions. But the whole key to that whole thing is this book is a breakdown of who you are. Even though this book is hard to understand also, too, it is a breakdown of who you are. Now, to show you what's going on, this book, now we have two things that's going on here. Number one, we know that the Jesus that was on the scene was none other than the historical Jesus was actually teaching the works of Heru, which is the original Christ figure. Well, we had the Book of Coming Forth by Day, which is the oldest book in the world on paper, 10,000 years old on paper. The mythology goes all the way to 600,000 years, and remember, that's the second phase. We didn't even get into God's foot, which the Book of the Dead is only talking about the nature of what the God's foot was before the God's foot fell. So now, we got the Book of Coming Forth by Day. We have the Torah, we have the Bible, we have the Holy Quran, all of which claims to be, and even in the Holy Quran they talk about a certain Messiah. They call him the Mahdi. They just say the Messiah in the actual Torah, and they say Jesus or the Christ in the New Testament, which in all we would have still the same story, but this particular book is nothing but the second phase to the Book of Coming Forth by Day, which Heru has got a name called Har Marku, or Har Market, which means the Word made true. It says that we got this word of the first Christian figure, and we got all these other stories that's keeping that alive, which is the other books. But we gotta also, the word Har Marku, or Horus means the Word made true. So it means in the future, I'm going to make myself true. And this particular book, which is the last prophet, or the last book of manifestation of God, that came on our earth plane in 1904 in the 20th century, is talking about this particular Heru rising in the third chapter of it. And that particular Heru rising in the third chapter of it is the actual, we never had these prophets that come and set down a book. And they set down this book, and then all of a sudden, you don't hear from them again. This is one that set down the first book, which is the Book of Coming Forth by Day, and now this is the last book, which is talking about the same God form in our lifetime. So that means, if this is in our lifetime, this also means that in actuality, you're going to get the chance to see this particular stuff that's going on. Because not only is this talking about a Messiah, now this is the key. The Messiah means also you too. It don't just mean one person. Yes, you might have one person that might come. He's just the one that say, I'm here. And that's just by him saying, I'm here alone, that ain't nothing but something to jumpstart your brain. You see what I'm saying? It's no more to say that you're supposed to follow him. It's just a signal. It's just like you say, well, listen, we getting ready to get the show going on. We getting ready to whip some behind, but we waiting on John to come back in the crib. And once John get here, that's the signal for us to go on. You see what I'm saying? Well, so that all this particular Messiah is, he's no different than you, because even when Jesus, who was teaching that, said, be ye perfect as I am, just as I have done great works, greater works ye shall do. So therefore, this is not only here the actual trumpet horn or the bullhorn that's saying this Messiah is back on the earth plane. This is a bullhorn that says that the Messiahs will also manifest, like J. Edgar Hoover said, we must mobilize and neutralize the rise of a black Messiah here in America. So in actuality, they're talking about you. And as I also say in the actual, and there's a book you need to get called The Evolution of Man. For the last, I think the name of it, The Evolution of Man, the last 100,000 years, by a group called the Mark Age Group. They're white people, and they take a grain of sand. You got to take all white people with a grain of sand. But these people even bear witness and even said that Christ is not only one who raising himself to the level of Godhood, but Christ is in actually a one race of people. So therefore, we're talking about we're being the Christ. And in the 3rd chapter of this book, when they say this particular Heru rise up, yes, he's one figure, but they're also talking about an extraterrestrial government, which you are the brothers and sisters on the frequency. You understand what I'm saying? No other race, you are those brothers and sisters on the frequency. And the other people, if they down with you, they down with you, but you are the ones that's getting that together. You are the ultimate embodiment of that. Everybody with me already? Okay, now, the return of AWAS. The return of AWAS came back on this is why I said about you are the ones, because the return of AWAS came in 1993 in the Sphinx Metaphysical Bookstore in Atlanta, Georgia. You see, the whole key to this AWAS is all the white people been looking for him since 1904. Because they figure somewhat in their return will be the savior of them. So they were looking for this particular one in 1904. But what had happened was he didn't come back to them. He only came as a warning sign to them to give them the time continuum, and he came back in October, the last weekend of October in 1993. It was funny because I don't know if you know the date, but what was the date that the Empress came and had her speech at Florence Jackson? Yeah, the same day that he came was the same day that she had a speech at Florence Jackson. And I didn't realize it, but that day she came and she signed the book. Now he came, and I told you this sister came in the Sphinx, and I was up in there, and the sister came and said that this man, a tall, dark man in his 30s, well knit and attractive, with an Arab dress, she said, some Assyria dress, is standing behind me. And he appeared. So it was funny because the same day that I saw this particular person, the Empress had her speech out at Florence Jackson, and she signed and autographed a book to me in gold writing. And gold writing, and she explained also that this alien had put a doggone star and a crescent in the back of her neck, which anybody saw that star in the crescent? 7-pointed star in the back of her neck. Okay. She explained that, and she gave me this particular book, and she also told me on the phone, she said that the white man was getting ready to put her in jail. It was all because, this is the woman that's got all this land. And she said what happened was they was getting ready to indict her. And right then a ship came and an alien stepped through her front door, came through the wall. A black man, she said. And she said the white man had already cut off her electricity, because they're always messing with her. They cut off her electricity and stuff. And he came and told her to go to the typewriter and start typing. And she said, well, I can't go to the typewriter and start typing. She said, because there ain't no electricity, and that's an electric typewriter. He said, just go to the typewriter and start typing. So she went there and started typing, and this stuff started typing. And she knew what to type because he was actually giving her the transmissions on what to type. And so she typed out this particular letter. She told one of her friends to go down and mail it off to D.C. The friend said, wait a minute, hold on, you ain't got no lights on. How you going to type a letter? She said, just go mail it off. So she said she mailed it off, and she said that when she mailed it off about 3 days later, a white woman called her and said, I don't know what you did, but what you did Everything that we was going to indict you on, you got an explanation explaining whatever we was going to indict you on, you clearing it up in this particular letter. And she said it was a black man that came out of a spaceship, and it was ironic that the same person that came, this rise of AWAS, came in the same day that I met him in the Sphinx Metaphysical Bookstore, the same book day that she came to Florence Jackson. Well, it's funny. She came back about 2 weeks ago. So she was saying, I was explaining to her about some things about some AWAS and some other stuff that went down that I'm going to explain about this Thunderdog. Now, you all don't leave. I know it's hot, but don't mess around and leave and don't get the juice that's coming to you, because you got the juice that's coming to you. You see what I'm saying? We've all been granted protection. We've all been granted wealth, prosperity, and anything you want. All you got to do is just take down the doggone information. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be, I know it's a little hot, but don't just mess around and don't get the juice that's coming to you also. Then she said that I know AWAS. I said, you know it? She said, yeah. She said, go look in the back of my book. Now, she got this book, The Return of the Ancient One. She said, the back of the book on page 425 is written by the extraterrestrials. She said, I wrote it, but I didn't know what I was writing. She said, but I wrote it, and it's written by the extraterrestrials. And in here, I'm going to give you, it's about 3 pages, but I'm going to give you some of the stuff. Look. It says the word SEB, Seb the Shabdit, another name for Washat or Washita, is a Camite, a committing. Now, this is a woman 60 years old writing this stuff, and she hadn't studied none of this. You see what I'm saying? She tell you straight up, I don't know that stuff. But when you read this, you got to say, I said, oh my goodness. And I know some of the stuff she is saying, you got to be an advanced student of Egyptology to even know some of this stuff when it comes to the words. But this woman got it in the book. And she says, is another word for Washita that became the Hebrew word for SBT, or SBTZ, or TSB. In Cam or Egyptian, SBT means to rule. And the pupils are the teachers from the star system Sirius, Sothis, Set, Isis. Now, this is just part of it, and it's dealing with also the Moors. They give you the actual Moors and the breakdown of that coming from Lemuria and all of the stuff that she has in here on Sirius. Just right in, and she says she knew him. Okay, I got in touch with Sister Maya that's always giving the transmission. She was there that day. She was there that day. And she said, well, she's telling the truth. And she said, because this is the same thing that's coming. So Sister Maya said, and what's coming now is, because AWAS came through. And AWAS said, yeah. He said, number one, I am the Christ. But that's the Christ embodiment. He said, I am the Christ figure. And AWAS also said, which is also a form of Heru. You know him as Horus, or you might know him as Jesus Christ, who was the teacher of him. He said, I am the Christ. He said, but Washita mean the children of AWAS. The Washita, I said, Then he said that Washington, D.C., because remember that Washington was not named after George Washington, it was named after the Washita, which George Washington. Did he change his name? What's the brother of the Moors? He was a mulatto or something. Anyway, right, and remember now, he was the 4th president. There was 4 other presidents under the first presidency. You see, and he said that Washington, D.C. is named after AWAS. I said, and she said, this is the children of AWAS. And said, yes, the Empress has been chosen to do a certain work. That's why they put the star in the crescent and all. And they chose me to do a certain amount of work, which I went on the mounds on my birthday and got initiated in the whole 9 yards. But it was funny how this stuff all started tying in. And I was like, okay then. Now, this is the key. AWAS is the ruling forces of this planet. AWAS government is also called, another name for AWAS is also Melchizedek, or Metatron, or Medura-Aton. All this is the same one, because he said that I am the head of the Sirius star system. Then it said, no, Melchizedek is supposed to be the head of the Great White Brotherhood, or the Black Right of the Sirius star system also too. They are one and the same. They are one and the same, but there's only one key to that whole thing. Melchizedek is supposed to be the most high angel of God. But if you trace that all the way back, the most high angel of God, if you trace it back to Kemet, where there ain't no such thing as no angels, we are all gods. So an angel can't be nothing but a God. If Jesus told you that you God, you run around here like roaches, then what you think a doggone angel is? Got to be nothing but God. So it said, they're the most high God. So when you trace him back, Melchizedek is the most high. Melchizedek is nothing but a form of God. While if you go look in Genesis, I think Genesis and Exodus, that's where Jesus said, I am of the order of Melchizedek. Well, if you're the order, well, how can you be the order of Melchizedek and be the order of your Father? My Father, who art in heaven. And what is this? If Melchizedek is nothing but a form of the Most High God, and what we got to play on is different names, different languages and customs talking about the same God form. Who is God? Who is among us today? You understand? So now, the whole angelic thing, any angelic host that you see in the actual later Bibles, where they had what it is they want to front this monotheism. They knew that ancient Egyptian Hemmitt was monotheistic from the get-go because they had all the letters to explain the natures of God, but they want to take all that out and make this whole thing here, this one monotheistic type deal. Then they had to change all of the natures of God into angels, and that's where they messed up, you see. All the natures of God into angels and tried to make them lesser gods when in actuality those angels was nothing but the actual principles of the one most high God, because they also told me up here, we are one people. So now, to go on, it says that he's the ruling forces of this particular planet. Now, one of the keys to this whole thing is the rise of the phoenix that I was getting into. Now, the rise of the phoenix is, the Empress said that we got a mound that I went to on November 28th was the Snake Mounds. She said there's also another mound, I think that was in Ohio, but I think the other mounds is in Louisiana. Was that mounds in Louisiana, the Phoenix Mounds? I think it is. She said, but the Phoenix Mounds is another mound which is in the shape of the phoenix, and in the back of her book she got this mound, and this particular mound is in the shape of this particular phoenix that the indigenous people made. Let me explain what this particular phoenix is. It says phoenix or the ibis bird or the Banu bird. The Banu bird in the circle of the return is in the symbol of the God that administers himself in his own cylinder. He is the double one and the physical as all in the mythical sense. This particular phoenix god is in actuality nothing but a form of the god Heru, called Harmakit or Harmachis, which means God on the horizon, Heru on the horizon, which is also a form of Melchizedek or a form of Awas. All this is the same thing manifested on the earth plane in the United States. So it says that Harmachis or Harmaku are names of Heru or Horus of the star. And Harmachis described by Awas as being beyond the present eon as Sirius is beyond the sun. Now, the formula of this phoenix is already described. The star of Heru is the star of Babylon, which is a seven-rayed star of the planet Saturn or Set that rules Aquarius at this particular time. Remember now that Empress said that there's a seven-rayed star in the back of her head. Now the seven-rayed star is also a form of the pentagram, and the seven-rayed star is also in you. You see, because when they say the phoenix is rising, they also talk about that seven-rayed star is in the base of your skull called the medulla oblongata, called the mouth of God, and that is nothing but the melanin and the black dot. Okay? That is the black dot, and that is already in you, this particular seven-rayed star. Now, I'm going to show you something. Oh, Lord, I hope I brought it. But I wanted to show you, and I think I messed around and didn't bring it. I think I got it in this book, but I'll pass it around. Now, as you know, that the black dot that you see is melanin, right? These wings that you see is also a form of the phoenix. And you see this staff of Tahuti also, too. And you see right here is called the black dot, which is a point in time that goes all the way back to the most archetypal god also, too, which is in actuality the seven-rayed star or the pentagram that's also, too, in you. Now, Awa says, when he reappears with Alistair Crawley, he said that blackness gathers about, so thick, so clinging, so penetrating, that all darkness that I have ever seen that I have ever conceived of would look like a bright light beside it. Now, this is what Alistair Crowley is describing when this angel reappeared. He said, his voice comes in a whisper. O thou art the master of the 50 gates of understanding. Is not my mother a black woman? Now, this is what Awas is telling him about his mother, the Nut, Apit, Atyrus, the triple blackness of space. Thou art the master of the pentagram, which is a seven-pointed star, and is not the egg of a spirit a black egg? Now, that particular black egg that they're talking about, that black egg is in actuality the black dot. Now, Richard King tells you that that black dot is also called chaos. Now, this is the key to this whole thing where I'm talking about. The devil or Satan, in esoteric meanings, referring to chaos, melanin, that primordial substance that destroys evil and abnormal lower matter. Awas being a melanin angel and a current, both Awas and Heru Parkrat equates the number 418, which is the number of the great work, which is melanin. Now, chaos is supposed to be a form of the devil. Now, it says chaos is the absence of form and order, which is talking about melanin that what's the name told you, Richard King. Above all words, chaos haunts the Western man, the white man. It fills his mind with visions of seals running into rivers and men giving birth to frogs and fish flying through the grassy clouds. It is unnamed heart of every horror story. It is unexpected, unpredictable, uncontrollable, the lawless chaos. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of what this particular ancient devil is. Number one, a form of this chaos is the form of the god Heru, which it says that I am, my name is chaos. He also, if you take the book of Revelations, it goes all the way back to the book of Ta'an, which is Tahuti, which is the 39,000 papyrus rolls. And when you talk about the war of Armageddon, they're talking about Heru-mageddon or Harmageddon, which is the war of Armageddon, which we're talking about the Christ figure. And since we are all the Christ figure, Christ people, we are that extraterrestrial government that's going to start the war of Harmageddon or Heru-mageddon, explained by Gerald Massey also. Now, let's go into some things that's going on. Remember now, we understand that there ain't no hell. The hell is the different levels of the mind. As Diop told you, that the white man took the book of Gates, and at the book of Gates, excuse me, not the white man, because this is some doing by us, I believe, but it might have been some other people, because remember that the Torah was written 700 years after the death of Moses and all. And so after that, they took the actual book of Gates, which is talking about the Egyptian heaven and hell, which is a book out by E. Wallace Burridge called Egyptian Heaven and Hell, cost $5. That's explaining the hell concept. Now remember when Diop came in 1986 before he died, he said the hell concept came to the Jews, inducted it into the Holy Torah 100 years before Christ. And that's the hell concept, and it wasn't talking about no spooked out thing up under the ground, because if you go up under that ground, you were going to be in heaven. That's why the pharaohs used to bury themselves that deep down, because we understand down there is the subterranean world, and the blue-black superior people live up under the world. They live up under there. You see, in the subterranean world, which if you came down there, it would probably look about like this, but it would be more spiritual. And the reason why the white man hadn't been able to penetrate that is because in order to get in there, your thoughts got to be a certain way, because it's on another dimension. So now that is our heaven, and we understand when we have the ascension thing, some of us are going to go to the subterranean world, and some of us are going to go to other realms of the cosmos also too, when we're talking about this ascension type thing. Because not everybody is supposed to leave. They got to have people that's also supposed to build this new world back. You see, so everybody is not supposed to leave. So now this particular book of the book of Gates is actually talking about conditions of the soul and the mind, and it's talking about the different astral planes, and it's not talking about a hell up under the ground. You understand? Because we understand, and now I understood, because I always tried to understand this. And remember I told you before that I had the book where the tunnel led from Hemmitt, from ancient Memphis to Memphis, Tennessee, and by the time, but that's a tunnel, but up under there is a doorway to the subterranean world. You don't have to go through the tunnel. You can drop off into parts and be up under the other part of the world. Well, the whole key to that whole thing is now I understand where did the ancient Kemites go? Where did the ancient Egyptians go? I'm saying we got this miraculous culture, and we're talking about a huge massive land because we understand that you can fit America and Africa 5 times. So we estimate that Kemet would reach from here to Washington, D.C. That's a big, mass part of land. And we're not even talking about ancient Ethiopia, Nubia, and Kush in the whole 9 yards. So where did they go? Now, we understand that this all was one land mass at one time. But we're talking about the period of the last invasion based on the Arabs. You'll need to get that book, The Last Invasion of Egypt by Butler, that John Henry Clark did the introduction to. Now, we talk about that last invasion. Where did they go? How can you go until the 18th century come in? You don't see nothing but they're Arab people. You see some dark people, but you mean to tell me that the Arab influence was that big that it's going to wipe out a complete culture, the most dynamic culture, or one of the most dynamic cultures? I don't want to give it all to Kemet because that's just one part of the family. Like I said, this whole earth was out, and we got to get out of that thinking too, because I hear some people now, they refer to us all as just Africans. You know what I'm saying? African this and African that. That's just one phase of the black man on this planet. The black man is a ruler of this planet, and it ain't got nothing to do with just one landmass called Africa. You understand what I'm saying? That's just where the bulk of us were when they had the great, what they call the slave trade type deal, where they took a lot of those out, and so we are stuck into this slave trade ordeal, and the white man want to give you this whole Africa thing because he don't want you to know that you're the ruler of all of this. So therefore, he can easily tell you to get the hell out of America. You think it belongs to the doggone Indians. You see what I'm saying? But it's your home just as well because we are all one people, and we are all one family. So now, just think about all that landmass in Kemet at that particular time. Where did they go? And it came to me, at first I thought they just got off the planet. Well, I guess some of them did get off the planet in some spaceships. That's the first thing that came to me in 1992. Where did these people go? But the next thing is once I learned more and more about the subterranean world is they actually went to the subterranean world. So in actuality, when we go down there, we're going to be rejoined with the ancient Moors, the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Kemites, the ancient Atlanteans, the ancient Lemuria, which is all one doggone people. These are the most superior people live up under the earth. So now, if we're talking about that particular hell, we want to get to that particular hell. And the only reason why the white boy hadn't been able to penetrate that is because that is too spiritual for him. So now, we want to get off this hell concept because this particular hell concept is states of mind. Now, I want to read you something to show you what time it is on this particular devil. And we're in the heart of our story. Number one, let me read something on this chaos. What is God but man, wielding therefore of chaos? To him nothing is true and everything is permitted. There is no purpose in his existence. He is free to choose his own. Now they talk about once you get this black dot and this melanin going on, you're going to be God. So you're free to choose your own. Not the white man who can't do nothing for the simple fact that he don't have this, and not you for the simple fact right now that you don't have your other faculties. Like they say the Holy Kabbalah, where you have in the Holy Kabbalah, you have 10 sephiras, if anybody have ever seen the Holy Kabbalah, 10 sephiras in the Holy Kabbalah, and in these 10 sephiras, these are 10 DNA strands, and you only have 2 left. That means you have to get the rest of these, and which is in the middle, you see the black ring, which is called Darth, which is Darth Vader, which is the devil, which is melanin, which is the devil that the white man is talking about, okay? Now, let's go on. It says that the devil does not exist. He is false. He is false and a name invented by the black brothers. Now, see, what Alistair Crowley is saying here is the black man invented this thing, God, to throw people off track. Because at this particular time, I'm quite sure, and I understand the reason why they did that in ancient Kemet, they just didn't say that the black man was God. They made you go on for about 30, 40 years in the mystery system, and then they told you, guess what? The God that you've been worshiping and the whole God that you learned to be like ain't no other than yourself. But then by the time you worship them, if you love them so much that you worship them, this is a way that you could accept the power of being a God other than saying, I'm God, and then run around doing all kind of crazy stuff, because you would remember the God that you used to love and how you used to bow down to that God when you did worship him. So when you become God yourself, you will understand that there's a certain amount of responsibilities because you remember giving those responsibilities to the other God. So they just didn't say you was God. So when they say this, so they created this name, the devil. Now, the devil is a false name invented by the black brothers. It is, they said the devil who had unity would be a God. Now, this is the deal. This is the deal. It says the devil is historically a God of any people that one personality dislikes. Now, let me get that again. The devil is historically a God of any one that personally dislikes, of any people that personally dislikes. He is led to do so through so much confusion of thought that the B666 is referred to less names as they are and proclaims simply that Awas is a solophatic hermetic Lucifer in his holy guardian angel. The devil, Satan, or Hadit is a particular unit of the starry universe. Now let me show you what he means by that. Number one, he says that Awas is a form of the devil. Then they say that the word the devil, Satan, or Hadit. Let me show you what the devil is and what Hadit is. Hadit is a certain point, they say, that's called a Hadit point, which is a particular part of the universe. It says Hadit is an infinity, a small atomic point. The Bindu, or the black dot, is the hidden God whose name Had, which is united with Ad, or Darth, remember Darth, the spear of Darth, Darth Vader, or Thoth, whose union with Yog, with Set, produces Yog Sathos, a Chaldean form of Set. Hadit represents the infinity, a small, superiorly potent point. The Bindu, which is unite Nut, which is the triple blackness of space, and generates and manifests the universe, which makes Ra, Heru, Kahuti, which is talking about the Christ. So they're saying that the actual devil is God and is Christ based on this black dot. Now, why would they call the black dot and why would they call this particular part the devil? Well, we understand that the white boy, as Richard King says, when he takes this energy, they can raise the chakras and they can raise the kundalini energy, but when they get it up to a certain point, there is, because they have a calcified pineal gland, when they raise that energy up, they start hearing the voices, and they call that the devil. That's why in the first part, where I told you that chaos haunts the Western man and fills his mind with fish flying through glassy clouds and men giving birth to frogs. He starts calling that the devil. That is like running 100,000 amps of electricity through a 6-amp fuse. It's going to blow. So now that is his devil. So when he hears this, he calls this the devil. Because remember I told you before that the Bible, the Quran, the book of the dead, the book of coming forth by day is nothing but the reflection of the soul of the black man and black woman. So it's actually talking about the breakdown of the body. So now if you're talking about esoterically breakdown of the body, the devil is the black dot, which is talking about melanin. Remember in the book of Revelations it says they only accept the ones who have the mark. You remember that? It says only accept the ones that have the mark. What is the mark? The mark is melanin. They have changed all this around. The mark of the beast is in actuality, yes, the beast is, they're talking about this satanic thing, but in actuality, the mark of the beast is none other than melanin. It's their beast. You understand? Because they understand through this, which is called the nothing, all things are possible. Okay? Now let's go on, because I want to keep on going and give you some other stuff that's going down. Show you what's going down about this. Let me just. Okay, I'll just do it this way. Y'all are with me? It says that there is, when the south has preceded the primary station of the pole star, which is Sirius, the Book of Dead is the oldest book in the world. Set is hailed of having been the first in glory. The powers of Set is and were greater than all of the other gods. Now, Albert Churchward, in his book called Evolution, Origins of Religion, notes that Set was looked on as angelic leader, or the fallen leader of the angelic host that had become the first in glory of the ruling powers of the primary station of the pole in the south, which is the pole star Sirius. That he was worshipped by the Yazidis in Mesopotamia, and there will be a restoration as well as a fall. Now, what are they talking about here? They said that he was the angelic leader, and he was the fallen angelic leader of the angelic host. Now, go back to your Bible story. Your Bible story was that Lucifer was the most beautiful angel, and he was the most high angel, right? That ended up falling. Well, if you take that and send that to Hemmitt, the most high angel was the most high God. And what had happened was that particular God didn't fall. After so many calculations of time, we lost the time and we fell from him. So therefore, when we fell from him and we lost the true name of him, we started calling him evil for the simple fact that we had misinterpreted and misunderstood the powers of the Most High God. So the fall of the actual Lucifer was a fall of the Most High God from us, and it was actually the fall of man because we fell from him. That's why in the book of Enoch they call the fallen sons of Set. Set means black. It means the black ones. And the fallen sons is the fallen sons and daughters of the black one, which they're talking about you. You fell and fell from your particular godhood. Now, if he is the Most High, then in actuality, the white man understands that the Most High God is what he calls the doggone devil. Everybody with me? Now, it says that Awas is not only a reflection of Set in the south, he is the concentration of energy and the concealed force illuminating the northern darkness. He is the astral god Sirius, the revealer of Nut. Mythically speaking, the revealer of nothing. Nothing means the triple blackness of space, and from nothing you get the absolute. And therefore, he is the God on the path for a supreme attainment. Now, what it means is this particular reflection, Awas is none other than a reflection of the Most High God. He is the physical manifestation, or he is the light manifestation of the triple blackness of space. During the period of the early migrations from Hemmitt to summer, the worshippers of Set took their God with them. He became changed to Shaitan. The Yazidi, like the Jews, were forbidden to utter the name of God. In consequence, the true name of God was lost. Now, this is the deal. They took the God Set with them. He came Shaitan. Set means the black one. The word An is the first word for Anubis, or Anpu, which is the messenger of the black one. So Satan is also called a messenger of God. Now, I know this is some deep stuff, but An, based on the science, the Satan is Anubis. Now, if you take Anubis, Anubis also corresponds with the god Tahuti. And the god Tahuti is the Greek Hermes. And the Greek Hermes is also represented, as you remember, the great Greek Hermes, as the god Asclepius tells you, the Greek Hermes is represented as the staff of Tahuti. Remember the staff of Tahuti? If you see on here, you see the serpent. And these serpents are the evil serpents. Okay? These are the evil serpents. This, and remember now you're all with me because I'm going to show you something. Listen. Show you what time this thing is. Look at this. I'll show you 2 or 3 representations of this thing to let you know. Remember I showed you the tree of life. This is the tree of life, which also came off the walls of Hemmitt, or Egypt, right? This is also the Egyptian tree of life also, which is also the staff of Tahuti. Now I'm going to show you another picture of the tree of life. This is a good book that you need to get. It's called The Mysteries of the Kabbalah. This is also a form of the tree of life, and as you can see, you see the same spears, and you see the snake going up the tree of life. Remember in the Bible, they tell you that the snake told them not to eat from the tree of life, or the tree of life, and the whole apple and the whole 9 yards and the whole 9 yards with the evil serpent. The evil serpent in actuality is this. You see what I'm saying? Now, for what we know, the particular God of that particular Genesis that the Bible is talking about and telling them not to eat from the tree of life, that Bible says it was only 6,000 years ago. And that coincides with who? Not us. Shit, we got the Sphinx that's in the middle of the doggone, in the middle of the actual earth that is 80,000 years. 6,000 years, we was at our fall. So in actuality, not to eat from the tree of life was talking about the white man. Because if the white man eat from the tree of life, he might find the doggone devil. Check. See what I'm saying? Now, so Set is the first blue-black god, which means the black one. Let's look up the word Set. Set, lit, means black. The word soot derives from it. The incalculably ancient name, Set was the primordial god of the Egyptians. No other god recorded in history exists in the human race other than Set. Also see Shaitan. Shaitan is a deity of the Yazidi, worship of Lower Mesopotamia. The Sumerian tradition Crawley set out to restore when he received this book of law by Set Typhon in his Sumerian form called Awas. Now listen to this. The name Shaitan is a form of Set, was many Kabbalistic meanings, some of which has been dealt with fully in this present volume. Whatever, I'm going to show you something. Satan is the work that failed to understand the formula and was degraded in that image. They say that the people actually failed to understand the formula of this particular thing because we were falling from Godhood, remember? And everything started coming literally, so they started changing these particular biblical stories into literal stories. So they lost the knowledge of who we were, man, know thyself. Not know thy history, but know that ye are gods. So in that part, they started calling them Satan or the actual devil, of actual ignorant people not understanding the true manifestation of what the hell is going on. Now, let's go on. In ancient Egypt, the first representation to succeed a long procession of zoo-type deities was Bes, or Bez, the dwarf god. Our church word notes that Ptah, which is the pygmy, or Bes, in his human likeness, was not given to the god or the goddess, but Atum Horus or Amun, the son Ptah, was the earliest divinity of the perfect human form. Now we know about the Twa, we know Ptah, we know Bes is also one of those dwarf gods also too. But also that is not also talking about the pygmy, even though we know the pygmy is one of the most ancient people. That particular dwarf god that they're talking about is your actual inside self. The dwarf self, which is the hidden God, which is in you, which the word Amun means hidden. So it says this particular word Bes. Now, it says this was Summer, the dwarf god Bes, Vez, probably the original form of Awas, Bez, Betch, equates to the word bitch or beast or bastard or beast. Bitch means the dog. The dog represents an ancient form, is one of the gods. See, you have God, the manifestation of God, which is the light of God. Then you have the reflection of God, which is the triple blackness of space. And just as you have the reflection of God, you have the reversal of the name of God, which is also talking about the dog star Sirius, which is G-O-D spelled backwards also too. So when they talk about that bitch, they're talking about a feminine dog also, and also what they call this particular word, the beast. The beast is also the mark of beast that they're talking about here is this particular, they're talking about this particular black dot theory. Now, I want to go through a few things with you, and we're going to run through this stuff right quickly, and I'm going to describe the devil so you all see how this stuff turns out to show you what the white man has done to turn this stuff around. Set means the black, or the word Kim or Tam, which means God, the black God. An, which is the word Anubis, which means Anpu or Tahuti, which means messenger. Because if you study Anpu or Anubis is also a messenger, because Anubis also gives you he stands over the gateway of initiation into the heavens. Okay. Satan means the messenger of God, who Awas or Shaitan is the minister of Heru Pakrat, which is a form of Heru. Heru Pakrat equals, which is the inside. See, you got Ra Heru Kahuti, which is the manifestation of the god Horus. His inside self is the god Set, or the blue-black god Osiris, ready to be rose up again, which is called Heru. That particular Heru is called the devil, because that's the black dot, okay? The black dot of melanin. Melchizedek, Metatron, Aten, the angel Samuel, which is this destroyer angel, and the word Adam Kadam, which means the heavenly man, the god Sebek, who is a form of Heru, which is and also a form of Anubis, which is the ancient form of Heru, equals black. Now this is the key. Antimatter means the black substance. Light means the Christ. Antichrist means the black Christ, the Antichrist. Remember the white boy was saying that the Antichrist was on the scene? Now we know doggone well that the white boy can't be talking about no devil no worse than himself. Here's a man that killed all the animals, killed all the people on the animal, and killed the planet. Now how can a devil that we don't even see in no mythology, in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Book of the Dead, in any book, this white man has out-leaped that devil by leaps and bounds. As a matter of fact, they got to invent a new kind of word to describe this particular white man. And as of what we know right now, he is the physical manifestation that is doing all the weakening, all the habits. So that the embodiment of evil that they're talking about is this white man on the physical plane, and it ain't no spooked out devil, because that devil don't exist. Right? Now, if the white man is talking about a devil, he came on TV, in March, and give you something on the ancient prophecies. Remember that? He told you that the white man was born in Israel in something like the 1960s. Isn't that about the same time that J. Edgar Hoover said we must mobilize and neutralize the rise of a black Messiah? And we know Israel, they're talking about the landmass of Israel, but Israel is also talking about the children of Israel. Israel means Isis, and Ra, which means the sun, and El is the son of the sun, so we're talking about the sun in Sirius, and we know that the lost children of Israel is supposed to rise up in the west. And we know that the lost children of Israel, if you go back and study the ancient Egyptian or the ancient Hemmitt mythology, they talk about the lost children of Israel is actually the lost children of Ra. Ra and Osiris, which also means, Ra in the book of Tahuti means Ra is the blue-black god, a god of blue-black tint. And he's also called the sun. Well, how could Ra be the sun and Ra be you? Because the sun is inside you, the black dot. Remember, once this thing goes through the black dot, that halo that rises up on your head, like you see Jesus walking through, is nothing other than a star. And what is the sun but a star? You understand? And when you graduate, like I say, on certain different airplanes, you become this particular star too after your graduation. So Israel is actually talking about the sons of God that's in America, because we know they're supposed to rise up in America. You done heard the tapes where I told you the same, you will be afflicted in bondage for 400 years in a land not your own, was not talking about the physical Egypt, but it was talking about a prophetic Egypt, which is talking about now, because that Egypt never had an evil Pharaoh. That was divine kingship. The evil Pharaoh they're talking about is from now. Right? So they're talking about the people of Ra that's supposed to rise up in Israel, the New Jerusalem. I saw the New Jerusalem in the west. You understand? Now, they said on ancient prophecies that this doggone Antichrist was supposed to rise up, and he's supposed to have been born in Israel, and he's supposed to have been on the plane now. Antichrist, anti means nothing. Look up the word nothing in your, I think if you get the Holy Kabbalion, there's another book called the Son of Bunham, and if you also get your Holy Kabbalah where they talk about nothing, nothing means the triple blackness of space. Antimatter is that is antimatter, which is the triple blackness of space. Christ means the light. I saw the light, and the light was Christ, the light of the world. Antichrist means the black Christ. Which also, Christ does not also mean one person. That might be the one person to rise up and say, hey, let's get it on. Then the rest of the Christs might wake up, but the Christ means black people. So the Antichrist that they're talking about, when they're talking about white people, they're talking about us. We're the Antichrist. And this is the key to this whole thing. The Antichrist is the black Christ. Satan and the word Shechem. Now let me spell this word, because I'm going to show you this. I want to show you this. This is a good book you need to get. It's called We'll have some of the black media. It's called The Secrets of the Kabbalah. And in this book, they tell you they got a whole section on the evolution of Satan. But now, you can wait around for my book where I got 5 times this much in this new thing called Awas, the Devil of Darkness. And you know my books, I only sell them for $6, so that can save you some money. And I got about 8 different books where I done pulled out all the stuff I'm talking to you, and I got it in here. Now, I'm not trying to make no pro, because I'm only selling the things for $6. You know what I'm saying? This is worth more than this, and if you most black people will charge you more than this. You know what I'm saying? They'll charge you more than this and stuff. I just say it's $6 doggone dollars. No, I'm not trying to really make no money off this thing. The Spirit then told me to put things together. And every time I come in to put a pamphlet together for my lectures, I end up putting 40 or 50 pages together, and I know it's the Spirit. So we can get them for that, but I'll even go for $5. You know, we do that Negro thing, you know. It's a hustle thing. Now, you see, now, and we can, throw in some other stuff too. Now, this word S-H-E-N-K-I-N-A-H. That word Shekinah, whatever, so I don't, me. It means the presence of a deity and the glory of God. Now, in this book, it says that Satan is that of the word Shekinah, which means the glory of God. So Satan means the glory of God. Satan is a reflection of God reversed becomes dog. The dog star Sirius. Hell, Amenta, is the black dot. Amenta, which is the ultimate subconscious. Amenta is also, as above, so below. Amenta is also the underworld, which is our heaven, which is Osiris and Ra, and all of them are hidden in the mysteries of Amenta. Amenta is also here, but also as above, so below. Your body is Amenta, and Amenta is the medulla oblongata, the black dot. You must walk through 40 days of hell before you get to the Christ-like paradise, which is white, which is talking about the great white brotherhood or the white halo, which can only be birthed if you are black or one with the black-haired, not black-haired people, not the mutant. So now when they say hell, Amenta is the lowest form of, it is the ultimate form of your subconscious, which is the hidden God in you called Amen, Amenta, Amen, the hidden God. The hidden God is also the God Set, which is the inside of you, this dwarf God called Heru Parkrat. It's supposed to be rising up once this stuff is triggered. So you are the actual devils, and that devil is inside of you. Because once you get your God up outside of you, the white man is through. You see what I'm saying? The white man is through. Satan, Sirius, Allah, and Sirius. Now I want to show you something. Now this is some funny stuff here. I want to show you this. Number one, I want to read something. The devil is also called Pan. It's a Greek god called Pan. Half man, half Capricorn goat. The devil steps through the ring of Saturn. Remember I told you that Saturn was a black planet. The sphere of Saturn is the makeup of melanin, which is also in the Aleister Crowley Kabbalistic Dictionary. Also in Saturn is also the sphere of Binah, which is another form of the Hebrew Holy Kabbalah, which means the great mother, which means blackness. It's called the black planet. Remember also I told you that the Africans could not get their situation together not unless they repolarized Saturn and Jupiter in Africa by the Africans, which the Dogon did on April 23rd. So that means that this Siggy ceremony that I've been talking about the last 2 or 3 years just went on April 23rd. That means we are halfway out of the cliff. That means that the Christ form of us rising up is on the scene now. Now Saturn means Pan. It is the traditional morality in the state of consciousness. In its original primal state, the being of a created seed, black dot seed, born that breaks through a normal conventional. It is the devil that advocates the laugh and plays and celebrates the dance of life. The devil is spelled backwards, lived. L-I-V-E-D spells devil backwards, lived. Who were the people that was alive at one time that is dead now? You are. Okay, now, I want to show you something. about this god Pan. The god Pan is significant. It is amazing in significance that Sirius is the leader of the planet, and it is the 8th planet, well, you call a star planet, so to speak, and Pan is the dancer master as well as the real ruler over the 3 worlds. They're saying that, therefore, Sirius is Pan. Now, remember I told you that Set Typhon was a form of Sirius. It says that Pan is a Greek word for the word all. Remember, Allah is called the all and the all. Equivalent to the all, and which is the word nothing, which means newt, which is the triple blackness of space. Now, this is the key. It is the Hindu Om. Pan is also the goat-headed, goat-footed god that symbols the leaper of high places. It is a Greek form of the god Set Typhon, which is also the form of Sirius. Now, I want to show you something. Now, y'all bear with me. This is the god Pan. You've seen this before. This is the god Pan. The god Pan is the same god which will show you to look like the devil. Now, you've seen this spooked out picture before. They show you the devil, right? Now, I'm going to show you something. This is the god Pan. This particular god Pan is the Greek form of the original god Set, which true word was lost in the desert of Samaria, and which also the Jews, the Hebrews, were forbidden to utter the name, which, now this is the Greek name. There's an ancient name which was Soot, which we got off the temple of Dendera. Now, this is supposed to be the Pan that is Sirius, and is supposed to be the devil that you see. Look at him real close. In the middle, he has the star in his forehead, which is the black dot, which that is nothing but the star in you. Every woman, every man is a star. That star in you is the black dot. It's in his forehead. Right down here, you notice, if you can see, you see the 2 serpents and the staff of Tahuti, if you can see it, which is nothing but the Kundalini rising. Now, this particular Pan is also the word all. The all in all is the word Allah. If you look in the representation of this picture, you will see a picture of the moon and the star. The star means God, and the moon means the messenger of God. The devil is not only God that they're talking about, this Satan, but the word Set means God, or the child of the great mother, and An means Anubis, which is Anpu, which is a form of Tahuti, which is the messenger of God. So when you see this, you see that, you know that that star and that crescent also means the messenger of God. And you know when you see this in the star, in the sky, that means that God is coming. When you see it in the sky all this time, and that's the messenger. What is the holy star in the crescent of Allah being on the particular part of the devil? And down here you see a black moon, which also means melanin. What is the star in the crescent and all these particular symbols being on the sign of the devil? And this particular part on Pan. And also, now, that particular Pan is also a form of Osiris or Osar. And he is the Lord of Sirius, as the Quran says. And it said, if you take the Quran and trace that back to Hemmitt, the Lord of Sirius would be Osiris. Osiris, that Melchizedek and them told me, was a code word for black people. You are the Lords of Sirius, because the Lords of Sirius is the Lord of perfect black. We know that the 7 planets around Sirius represents you. So also, that Jeremiah says in his book, The Natural Genesis, that Sirius, based on occult lore, is a star of retribution. So that is the white man's devil. Look up the word Sirius. Then we can go into some last things on this devil part, because I know it's hot in here. It's hot, ain't it? It's not hot. Well, it's hot up here. I tell you the truth. Sirius, the dog star, in arcane traditions, is a vast star, symbolizes the sun behind the sun, i.e. the true father of our universe, the primordial star of all time, the duplicator and the repeater of time cycles. What was in the beginning shall be in the end. He is known in Egypt as the doubling one, therefore the creator and the reflector. Now, the double one is also called the devil. The word the devil comes from the word double. You have a double self. This is one part of you, and then your inside is also a double too. which is the devil. Which is the devil. Now listen. The image of Sirius is an original, the headless one, the light of the lower regions of the south, because it comes from the south gate, and Sirius rises from the south. Remember that, Sirius rises. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I'll drink that in a few minutes. Sirius rises from the south. Okay, who was known in Egypt as An, the dog, which is a form of Anubis, which is the black. And you see him, he's black and gold. The black means the black. The black means the sun behind the sun, the black sun, which is also Sirius, and the gold means the sun of our particular zodiac, which is called the sun in Sirius. Also, it also means the sun in Sirius means Jah, and that particular Jah is also called the sun in Sirius, and Heru is called the sun in Sirius, and Jeshua ben Pandera, which was the Jesus of the flaming star that you know of, was called the sun in Sirius. But An is called the dog. Hence, Set, which means God, and An, which means the dog, God dog, you heard that before, which means Satan, Lord of the infernal regions, the place that later interpreted the moral sense of hell. Now, Sophis, which is another form for Sirius, means the soul, is Isis, and another name for the dog star. The dog star is also Venus transcended in Sirius, in a sense, as the child surpasses the mother. The Sophic cycles in the period, in the time light, is called the phoenix. The phoenix in other time cycles is the ancient Egyptian Sophis, the opener of the year, the rising and the inundation of the Nile that brought forth life in a sun-stricken land. Hence, Sophis is the star of Annunciation. We understand that Sophis is also Sirius. Now, this is the key. It said that An, and they call him the double or the devil, which is the soul. Now, I want to show you something in Gerald Massey's book, talking about the original Hebrew word. Now, I believe that what has been going on, what? 2 minutes? Okay, yeah. Well, you go ahead and, it's so hot, y'all. I guess you want to just go right straight on through with this stuff. You want to take a break or whatever? Because we go to the last piece. It's not that long. We're going to close out for question and answers, but I want to give you the juice on what Thunderdog told me to give you. So, we do a little break right now. What? Yeah, okay. Well, let me just get this last little point. How long you got? 2 minutes? Let me just finish off the devil first. Okay. The Hebrew devil or Satan means the opponent or the adversary. The first great natural adversary is the primitive man, was darkness. Simply, darkness consists of an eternal enemy of light. The power of darkness is literal before it became the metaphysical, moral, and spiritual. It was literal before it became metaphysical, moral, and spiritual. The enemy of light is the triple blackness of space. It is the only thing that is powerful than light, because light comes from the blackness. That is the devil. Now listen, Satan. This is the key I want to say right here. Now this is it. And we could go on. Typhon in Egypt. Typhon gave birth to Set. Typhon means black. Satan means Typhon, which means black, that gave birth to Set, or Sut, which is the light, who became the Egyptian devil, or Satan, who is represented by a black jackal, which is on the dog Anubis, and the voice of darkness. Sut is the black one that gives the name to Sut, meaning black thing. Now, this is the point I want to get right here about the black man. The black man or woman without, that means they were black without, was also negroid within. As the reflection remains the mirror of mythology, the blackness of normal phenomenon was the original devil, put out the light, or the swastika. The swastika also means the seven-pointed star, the five-pointed star going around like a chakra, which Hitler borrowed. But the key, what I was trying to say was, they were saying that the black man's soul, or the black woman's soul, is the mirror of mythology. Everything that we are learning here about all this religion is nothing of indications of aspects of our soul inside, our double. They said that the black man was not only black on the outside, but he was black on the inside. As above, so below, as within, so without. So if you see a doggone white man, You know damn well he can't have the same black soul that you have. But that don't necessarily mean by skin color also, because we also know that black people could be white and damn near white, right and damn near white, and have that black soul on the inside. And what they're saying is this particular black soul that is also on the inside is your double, is also called a devil, which I already indicated time and time again that the devil and the black soul is called Hatted Point, is also the black dot. And these particular wings that you see on the back of Jesus Christ, and we get our wings and fly into Christ, you can only do that through the black dot, which is the white man's devil. Now, we're going to cut. And transformation. Now, transformation, it says that the devil is the one that destroys the lower ego. Since the white man has no soul, 80% of them that have no soul, all they have is the lower ego. So therefore, if the devil is that kills the lower ego, then it just kills them. You understand how that goes? So now, that means that's why he calls that particular spirit on the tree of life Darth, or Darth Vader. That is his particular devil. Now, the rising of the phoenix is also the rising of the kundalini. In time cycles, if the rising of the phoenix or the rising of Heru is the rising of the kundalini, and the kundalini is the energy that will also neutralize the lower ego, therefore, 80% of them that do not have souls will automatically die also. So we have this particular thing that's also going on as far as all kinds of things that's being unleashed on him also too. Now, the second part I wanted to get into was on the things that happened from April the 4th through the 10th. If any of you who have been studying my videos, I said from April the 4th through the 10th, there was supposed to be this time door that was supposed to open in time. And the kind of current or the energy that was in that particular time, the last time we had it was 90,000 years ago when this particular time door opened. So we took it upon ourselves, me and a group of other black people from Florence, Jackson. We went up to Jackson, Tennessee, which is, how many miles is that out of Nashville? About 70? It's about an hour from Nashville. On Highway 40, what's that, 40 West? 40 West going from Nashville, there's a place called Jackson, Tennessee. I tell you of a spiritual sister that I met that graduated from Tuskegee that went back and opened up a bookstore in the bottom of her mother's house. And this is this sister that could get on the phone with me and come visit me in the same time. She could be in Jackson, she can get on the phone, and she could astro travel, be talking with me on the phone and in my house at the same time. And all the type of stuff, describing what I got on, what I'm reading, in the whole 9 yards. In fact, she had come to visit me several times before she ever met me, but she had met she'd seen my videos and she wanted to see whether I was all right. She has a way to finding out whether a person is a fakery, or a person is no good, or a person got a bad spirit. And after she came to visit me, then she took it upon herself to get in touch with me. Well, anyway, she lives in Jackson, Tennessee, and we was going to the temple of the sun and the moon, the pyramid of the sun and the moon in Mexico. But what had happened was that fell through because Mexico is now in a civil war. So she said, well, listen, you need to come up here to the biggest one of the biggest mounds in Jackson, Tennessee. Now, we know we have the Etowah Mound, which is in North Georgia. Where's that? Where? Hardersville? Cartersville, Georgia. And that's up 75, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, the Etowah Mounds, we went up there on the November the 28th to partake in a ritual that they told me that I had to do on my birthday when I turned 32. What had happened was also, just that day, they made sure that it was real cold, because the day before that it was raining crazy. And then that night it just stopped and the skies cleared up so we could have a sunshiny day. But what happened was they made the wind was blowing so much until the white people, it was so cold till the white people said they wasn't coming out there. And so what happened was the white people who owned the mounds didn't want to go outside because they had already told Sister Joy, Amin Ra, that she could not do any more rituals or any type of prayer or anything on the mounds, because they understood the power behind black people going to these mounds of spiritual energy, which is nothing but pyramids, which we call mounds. And so they made sure that the wind was blowing, so they didn't come out, so we was able to go through this whole ritual. And that same night, we went through the ritual. That same night, they had the first lunar eclipse. They had that lunar eclipse on the 28th of November. All right. I started trying to calculate this particular time door that was supposed to open, which I said on a lot of my tapes, the time April 1994. But I didn't know what time in 1994 because they didn't give that particular time. Well, what happened was the sister that I'm in touch with is one of the sisters influential in my life as far as the spirit, made the channel, and Melchizedek said that the time to go was April the 4th through the 8th. But in actuality, the 8th, 9th, and 10th would be the fourth, would be the most powerful combination of that particular cycle. So we all went down to this particular mounds there because we didn't need no type of place that would somebody would interfere. And she said, this place you can go and you can do what you want, as well as the place in Macon. I heard they don't trip too. The place in Macon that you can also go to. And one of those next spiritual days is April the 17th, so you need to go, if you want to, you take upon yourself to drive up there and do anything personal you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You might get some juice. That's on the 17th, which is when? That's this week, isn't it? Yeah, I'm saying I'm talking about May 17th, yeah. Tuesday. Well, that's another trip for those of you who want to go. Or you can just sit down in your house and do some meditation or whatever, and do some fasting or whatever. Anyway, we went up there, and the first day we went, we all sit in a circle, and it was a group of people, only 2 or 3 of us went up this time, 2 of us, me and my sister. And there was a group of people there in Jackson that was ready to greet us, and we sat in a circle that I think that was that Sunday on the 8th or the 9th, and we sat in a circle on the 4th, and we did this did a meditation, and we asked for the mothership to come and lift us up. The mothership did come, and it was lifting us up, but actually, because remember now, we always have some spiritual seers or some sisters, and one of the sisters saw it, and it was lifting us up, and while it was lifting us up, she said the bee was straining because everybody was heavy with all this junk in them, you know. And so I think that Monday we went back, because we headed out that Monday. I think that would have been on the 5th or something. That Monday we went back to the mounds. Now when we went back to the mounds that Monday, we went on this particular mounds that the sister had seen in a vision. She had seen us in a house meditating in a vision on this mounds, and she had seen all the people who went up, and we all looked like a group of Ethiopians, including the Native American spirits, because you remember now, those spirits can go all the way back to the time when we first got on the earth. So the Ethiopian looking type person was one of the most original people. So we all looked like a group of Ethiopians in this house. So when we got up on the mound, we saw this particular mound with trees around it, and she said, that's the mound where they had the house. And so we went there, and as we was meditating, her mother saw this particular Indian figure, a black man, really. You know how the Indians, if you look at the real pictures of the Indians, they're black. Or the natives, she saw this native figure came, and he did this. And at that time, she could see a ceremonial dance going on somewhere down the street in the spirit. So we went back home, and then on the 8th, we came back up with a whole big crew of people. And on that 8th, we did a whole ceremony that 8th, and it was beautiful. And most of the people left and went back that day. We stayed over, a few of us stayed over. Me and the sister Mintu and sister Maya, Taisili, we stayed over. Now, there was a brother named Yusuf told me on the 8th, he said, you're going to get some real deal juice tomorrow when you all come back. So we came back. There was a brother there by the name of John Tillman. He was getting ready to go back that night on that Friday night. But the Spirit came to him, and he just said, I got to stay. So the next day we got up and we got in the circle in the whole 9 yards. And this thunder dog came up. We didn't know his name. She said the week before she just saw this Indian dressed in white. This time he came with a horse, a white horse, and it was dressed in white. And did he have wings or did the horse have wings? He had wings. Yeah, he had wings. So what I did was, we saw this V in the mounds, and I said, that's the vortex. We said, that's the vortex. So I took this book of law, and I threw it in the vortex. Because the April 8th and the 9th and the 10th was the same time we were invoked, when they invoked AWOC in 1904. So this was April 1994. So I said, now it is time, and I took the book and threw in the vortex. At this particular time, we was all meditating and doing different things, and at that time, this particular thunderdog rode up on a white horse. Now the sister is seen, and she said this particular person is Thunderdog. Sister Tycelia, Sister Maya said, well, what I'm getting at, he's an angelic ancestor spirit. The other sister got that he was an ancient God spirit. But then again, black man, black woman is God, so that all added up too. So, at that particular time, there was a brother named John Tillman who wasn't a psychic. And they said, listen, they said, one of the people in here, we know, and one of your people is supposed that there's a map we're going to give you, and one of your people will know how to read it. And the sister, Tamakila, went around in a circle and said, you the one that knows the map. You the one that know the map. And the brother John was like, I can see him, but in his mind, the Thunderdog kept saying, it's you. He's saying, but I can't open up. He said, yes, you can. You got to think. And you got to try hard. Then Thunderdog took a spear and hit him in the head with this lightning bolt. And he opened up spiritually. And he could see all what was going on. Now, we got two women that's talking verbatim on what's going down in the spirit world. Then we got this brother that just got opened up for the first time, and he's saying, they're talking to each other saying, yeah, he in the middle, and he's trying to come to me, and they are actually corresponding on what's going down. At that time, Thunderdog said, listen, we got some people here, these angelic spirits, and they're trapped up under the vortex, and they can't get out. He said, but they do not trust you all because you all sold them out with the Buffalo Soldier bull jive. They say, so you must make amends with them. They say, but some of our people sold you all out too. They said, but the people that sold you out had sold us out. So that's just the type of people they were. They sold us out also, and they just sold out everybody for the beast. And so they said, but they don't trust you, and they said they're trapped up under this vortex, and you must pull them out. So we started reaching to pull them out. And they said, you're doing it, and we freed these souls. There was a little Indian girl or a little native girl. She was seeing the whole ceremony, and the main reason why she was there is because one of her friends had gotten trapped under the vortex, and we had to free her. Now, what had happened about these souls being trapped was this. When these souls got killed and didn't have a certain burial, then that soul is trapped into that vortex, or trapped in time, and it keeps going through the agony. So you know that all the bodies that is up under the Atlantic Ocean based on the Middle Passage is going through the same type thing. As you know, if you would go back and get into the tapes when Leonard Jeffries and all of them take the people to Goree Island off the coast of Ghana, where they used to ship the slaves, most of the African sisters, sisters from over here, when they go in there, the spirit of that particular person is trapped into that particular dimension, and suffering jumps in them, and they go through the suffering. Anybody saw that film? A lot of women have had that experience of these people suffering, and mainly the women, because the women are the most open. Anyway, so this is what was happening. So we had to free those particular people because they didn't have a certain burial. Now, after we freed the souls, about 40-something native spirits came and circled us around us. These were the ones that did have the proper burial, and they was happy that we got their other people out of the vortex. Okay? Got the other people out of the vortex. So there was this old ancient Indian woman, and she came by, and she said, she was a medicine woman, and she had a last bit of water, and she gave us some of the water to drink. And also she gave each one of us a spear. And they said this spear would be something we could later do with this spear also. And there's some things that you got to do because you got to pick up your spear right now. Imagine that particular spear and pick it up right now because you're going to need that spear to do some spiritual work that's coming up to eliminate a certain amount of karma and initiate you to a higher level of spirituality. And I'll explain what that particular spear does. So, at that time, he said that on the map is some ships. And so they gave the map with the ships and the whole 9 yards. And they told him to put them in the trunk of his car, the brother John. It's some maps in another dimension now, we're talking. And put them in the trunk of his car. Now, to let you know this stuff is real, they came to me and they told me that they was happy of the work I was doing, you know, teaching the people in the whole 9 yards. They told me to keep up the good work, of the good work. Then they came to me and they put this around my chest. I think I brought it. Well, I can show you one. I got one right here. They put this around my chest. And they put the wings and the sun around my chest in the spiritual realm. Now, I didn't, you know, and they say it was the symbol of the sun, and it was the wings and the sun, so they put it around my chest. Now, I didn't realize that this thing was on until about 2 weeks later. My queen was looking at my back, and I had this big green spot on my back. And I said, what in the devil is that particular green spot on my back? So I called Sister Tamakila up, and she said, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, when you was on the mound, when they put that wing and stuff on your chest, it burned a hole in your chest, and it burned a hole all the way throughout your back. And that's what you've seen is that on your back. And also, too, once that goes away, it's going to be some type of symbols, just like the Empress has on hers. It's on your back. And it's this big green spot on my back right now. Okay. So now, they told us that to go back, and they said that we was going to have to build an altar, and we was got to build that altar to the ancestors to make that union. They said, because what we want to do is we want to make that union between the Native Americans, or the Native indigenous people, and the Africans, the Native black people, because we ain't doing this subjugated to Africa. We talking about just the black people and the indigenous people in the whole 9 yards that went through that ordeal. We went through ours with that Holocaust, and they went through their Holocaust. They want us to take that and make this reunion. And as a result, they told us to build this altar. And they said, we're going to tell you what the altar was. So when we got back about 2 days later, the sister was channeling, she came down with the altar, the sister from Tennessee. And the altar was, you need to get you something wooden, like a wooden dresser or a wooden table or anything, and get you, and they said for all black people to make this union too. And then you get you something yellow, some yellow cloth. Make sure the yellow cloth is cotton or linen, something natural. Make sure the table is wooden, something natural. Then get you a blue and yellow 7-day candle. Or just a blue and yellow candle, but the 7-day candles, they last for 7 days. And then you get you a plate full of grain, any kind of indigenous grain to Indians. So what I did was I got some sunflower seeds and some corn, some popcorn kernels. Because that's corn, something that don't, you know, wouldn't rot. Or if you can get the whole corn kernels where it's already hardened, you know what I'm talking about? If you could get that, that's good too. So I got that and some popcorn kernels, and I put it on the altar and get you a glass of water. I would say get you some little fancy glass, you know. Just don't get no Fat Tuesdays cup or no kind of junk like that and put on there, you know. But get you get you a glass of water, and then imagine the old Indian medicine woman, old black Indian medicine woman, you know, they were black people, and imagine her blessing the actual, water. Then you take anything like some cowrie shells or anything, or ankh or any type thing, and also put on the actual altar to signify something African or something native, indigenous black people to have that union, or ankh or any kind of thing, Heru, a scarab or whatever. And you make that union between the two. Then you write out you a list of Thunderdog, who is this particular angelic host that's already on the scene. You write out the list, and you write everything on that list that you want, and everything that you need to get rid of in the whole 9 yards, and they grant you prosperity and the whole 9 yards. Now, you can go and pray before the altar. They say, but never go before the altar not covered up. You got to cover yourself up if you're going to pray before it. Don't go through that buck naked and all, you know, nothing like that. But anyway, you write out that list of Thunderdog. Now, I know this might sound spooky to some of you all, but this is the juice that's coming down for our people. They said that we could have been got this particular stuff, but the people didn't trust us because of this native, because we were sellouts too. You see what I'm saying? So they didn't know. So now we got the Native American spirit, or just for lack of a better word, the African spirits, and all these particular spirits is ready to help us. Now, Thunderdog is from now on, the things that we're going to be doing are the things that we're going to be talking about, mainly, yes, we'll get into a liberation discussion, but also we're going to always give people things from this point on, things that can help them. We got stuff that was given to us by this angelic host called Thunderdog, which if you heard me mention on the radio, you need to build you an altar, and you write out, and when you build this altar, you don't worry about nothing financial no more. You don't worry about none of that, nothing financial, nothing to eat. All your problems should be solved, because now they told us to rejoice because they are blessing the brothers and sisters that's been in the consciousness and on the frequency and all. And most of the people I see in here are not just newcomers. I've seen these people, and I've actually talked to a lot of the people in here, so therefore, we all going to get some juice that's coming down right now. I've already started receiving mine, so I know. So first thing we want to do is we want to call out some gods and all. And I'll just call out the gods and the goddesses, and you say Ashe. Number one, when I say before, now if anybody want to debate me on this, all the religions are one. The same Allah is the same Sut or Aset or combined dual deities, male and female in Hemmitt. It's the same Yahweh. It's the same Atan. It's the same gods. It's the same Heru, which is, you get the word Heru Krishna, that also means the sun in Sirius. So the gods are the same. Anybody got any problem? Because at this particular time, you're supposed to have graduated from the religious state and gone deeper into the spiritual state. And don't think that you're getting spirituality just by being more religious. That's nothing. You see what I'm saying? We've got 140 years of religion and education in this country, and we're the dumbest people on the planet. So therefore, obviously, there's something that's being missed. So we want to get so now also too, I understand this stuff could be long or whatever, but I'm going to give you some things today that you can use for yourself. The first thing we need to do is, you see, when I pour out these libations, you need to do this, because what was given to me by a brother by the name of Brother Juju, who makes jewelry, and I mean, the brother is on it. I mean, because his pieces are coming from the spirit world, and this brother is a psychic in the whole 9 yards. That told me some things, and he's all the time talking with the gods. So, do we need to take up the $5 now? Need to pass the hat? Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Somebody take upon the arms and just pass the hat and take up the little 5 things, because we got to pay the people here, and and whatever and thing like that. I don't care if I get $40 out the deal. It don't make a difference to me, but because basically I'm interested in making a good video so people can learn a certain amount of things and stuff. Yeah, whatever. Just go and pass the hat around, and the donation was $5, so you all just put the donation in there, and you know how that goes, and so we can do this. Whatever. If you don't have the change, just wait till he passes it, and then after he passes it, the ones who need change, you can get the change after he passed the hat back. But first of all, just give up the dough. Now, while we're doing that, while we're passing that, we could be calling out the gods. So as I call out the gods, you say Ashe. Allah. Heru. Osar. Aset. Imeyah. Oshun. Ogun. Alegba. Babaluaye. Oladarun. Obatala. Oh, come on now. I got all these guys in the head. Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Let me go. When I miss out some, when I miss with some, then you all come with some, okay? Okay, Melchizedek. Metatron. Medurahatan. Apit. Tyert. Newt. Geb. Seb. Heru. Okay, hold on. Let me get these out of my head first, and then we're going to take some of the gods that you know. Okay, El Kadar is one. El Shaddai is one. Jah. Jehovah. Adani. Astarte. Ishtar. Sekhmet. Bath. Beth. Tefnut. Okay, the angelic host, Thunderdog. Ashe. Awas. Ashe. Enoch. Tahuti. Anpu. Elijah. Ezekiel, which is a god. Imhotep, who raised himself to God. Jeshua ben Pandera, who is the Jesus the Christ. The black god Krishna. The black god Buddha, Quetzalcoatl, Nomo. Okay, let's keep on. Okay, let me get some more females up in there now. Now 144,000 means that 99.9% of all of us would not make the cut. We dead people. So what's the reason for even talking? Hey, let's go and get after this malt liquor bull right now and go out and start partying and, you know what I'm saying and stuff. I go put on me a G-string right now and stuff and go down someplace. The point I'm trying to make is the 144,000 is actually talking about the 144 light bringers. You are the people that is on the frequency to actually bring the light and help your other people. So people say, what do you mean by that? Another thing people have been coming to, and I know you can bear witness to this because I had to go through this on my first stage of liberation. People come up to me now and they say, I'm bearing witness to this and I'm getting to this and I'm studying, but I got a problem. The brothers and sisters that's in my family, my mama or my sister, they don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I be coming to talk to them and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And they don't want to hear it. All of you have that problem. You understand? All of us. And you're concerned about them because you love them. So when I come up and start talking all this stuff about destruction and giving you things, and even with stuff that you being witnesses, you know this stuff is coming down because you see the news every day. You see what I'm saying? You're saying, but I still, one of the main things is because I know you just like me. I can't stand to be lifted up and don't want to take my people with me because I love my people. You see? So the same thing what happens is you are concerned about your parents, your uncles, your cousins that does not want to bear witness, that would rather die than to bear witness to this knowledge, this superior knowledge. And we're not even talking about no spaceships or nothing. We're just talking about regular Chancellor Williams and stolen legacy. You know what I'm saying? Or either J.A. Rogers. We're just talking about regular black history that they don't want to even bear witness to. I don't want to hear that black stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or they go, well, let's go do something black today. So now we have a problem. So we have a problem when they decide. We have a problem with those people, and I know this is on all of your minds, and this is how this thing goes with this 144,000. You are the 144,000, the ones that's tapped in, that's going to actually bring the light to the planet. Don't look for anybody coming down in ships, because guess what? You are the ones that's going to be on the ships. You are the terrestrial federation. You are those. You have a higher self. And when you meet up with your higher self, you already have the mission that you're supposed to do. Because right now we are all trying to get to a level that you say, I want to know what I want to do. That's one of the other questions. I want to know what is there to do. Now, the key to this whole thing is based on your family is each one of you are a representative of some family members, and also some friends that you know. You understand what I'm saying? So when the things start going down, you can go, wait a minute, I know what's going down. You know what I'm saying? I'm into this. Then you can tell them, well, this is what's going on, and they will be glad to listen then because their world will be falling out or behind them. Now, Melchizedek already said, you don't have to worry about it, because I got upset, like I said on some of my other tapes, because he was saying, man, this thing is over. We got to really clean this up. It's not getting any better. And he said, but don't worry. He said, because at a certain time, all of your people will know at a certain time, and they will have to make that choice. But it's going to be cut and clear. You see what I'm saying? Because number one, they're not going to have this beast around them still telling them that he's God, and they believing he's God in their minds. You see, because that's what's happening. You understand? So therefore, they're going to be made to face this decision. And this way you come in being the light bringers. You are a representative of your family. Now let's just say if each person in here knew about 25 people. You see the maximum. And we got about 50 people in here. You understand how much people that is? You see, and then once they get down, they tell the rest of the people, I know this thing's supposed to go faster than this, but this is the type deal is that you are the ones that's supposed to be on this frequency, and you are a representative for your family. For every black person that's running around in the street crazy, they're supposed to be crazy. This is the end of the world. If it wasn't the end of the changing over of the new worlds or whatever, there wouldn't be crazy. There wouldn't no need for me to even be up here speaking. You understand? With no need for the Spirit to take me off of what I was doing a few years ago. So therefore, how it goes down is you are the representatives of your family. It's like to say, well, you can go out and act like a fool, but I'll bear the burden for you. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like the whole 9 yards. Certain things that you don't supposed to be doing now because you're supposed to be in consciousness. So therefore, for all the other 50 million black people that's out acting like a doggone fool, you bear the burden for them, just as I have to bear the burden for them too. You understand what I'm saying? So certain things I won't do based on consciousness now, you see. Another thing is because I guess I'm going to go into this stuff, but I want to clear the space and try to get the spirit running. Another thing is we understand that, and this is the key to this whole clincher. A lot of our brothers and sisters won't. I share. What was that? What? Okay. Baal, let's say Baal or Baal. Mayat. Tired. I said that already. That was. Who? Sheba, Shakti, Kali, Oya. I already said Osar and I said, yeah. I already said that. Osar and I said the app. Yeminya, I already said it. Boom. Chingo. Ashe. Okay, now. All right. Is that enough, guys? I guess we did pretty good with that one. Okay, now. Let's do some ancestors known and, okay, gods known and unknown. Ashe, okay, we do it that way. Okay, let's do a little bit of ancestors. I just call out my grandmother Irene Shaw, my grandfather Raymond Shaw, my aunt Mabel Ford, my father Ali Hemmitt Sr., that's my grandfather Ali Hemmitt Sr., my father Ali Hemmitt Jr., Ashe. Now, I just do those, and for the rest of my family, known and unknown. Ashe. Now, let's get some more family going. Huh? Ashe. 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 Give me about two more. Ashe. Now y'all call all yours out that you want to call out together. Ready? Ashe. All right. The ancestors known and unknown. Ashe. I hope ain't nobody living down there underneath this thing at all. Now I got about this much more water to drink, I guess. Right? We had to please the gods first. Like I said, what we're going to do is, I guess it's going to be hot tonight too. I should have brought a towel too. Well, first of all, what we want to do is, I first started off, I said to mention some things about this ancient devil. And we want to get to the root of this tonight because really, I set a topic, but what happens is the Spirit gives me what they want me to speak on, and I guess this was something that was very important at this time that we need to clear up. So that we needed to clear up also was this ancient, this devil form. Now, as you know, like I said, we are right in the middle of these things. I think that everybody here at this particular point should be thinking one day at a time, no more than a month at a time, weeks at a time, because what we are ready for, we're supposed to be the brothers and sisters on the frequency. So we want to catch what's coming to us by not focusing on some doggone Olympics and focusing on whether my child going to graduate from college in the year 2020 and all this kind of foolishness, because we want to be focused to catch the goods that's coming down the tubes and coming down the tubes within this. It's coming down the tubes right now. People are seeing at this particular time several things. Number one, also too, because we want to give the people some things to do. There's a good pill out, the melatonin, that I saw this melatonin that these white people are using now, and I started laughing. I'm saying, oh, look at them. And then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute, I could take this too. I said, why? Because number one, I got a messed up diet. We live in the worst area. I mean, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and even if we vegetarians and all, we still can't be 100% pure. You understand? So therefore, I said, well, maybe in this time, and also too, negative thoughts also shut down the actual melanin process also, because I was speaking to Melchizedek, who is the spiritual overlord, who is my spiritual overlord, is also, his name is Awas or Medura Aton, which is, I was speaking to this particular brother, and I'll get into some deep, in-depth things on what this particular angelic force is. I was speaking to him, and I said, well, listen, based on the knowledge that I had that black people had a cosmic computer inside of their head that was going to open up at a certain time when the actual time cycles do a certain length of time, where we call a great year, after our Earth completes, our sun completes the orbit around Sirius every 26,000 years, which is coming up. They say the year 2000, but we know by this being 10 years behind, the year 2000 is very well upon us now. This is either the year 2002, 2000, anywhere from 2000 to 2004, if we deal with our calendars. You see, our ancient calendars, based the most ancient calendar, the Sothic calendar. I said, so I understood that some things are supposed to be happening. And I said, so that means that our people are supposed to be waking up now. And he said, yes, some of your people are waking up now. He said, but the problem is we wanted this cosmic computer to open up. But the negative thoughts that your people have shuts down all the process of what we're trying to give them. So that's just like the rays coming in and can't find a way in, and it's bouncing back off based on the way we think. As a man and woman thinketh in his heart, so is he or she. So therefore, I said, Then when I got these melatonin, I saw these melatonin things, I said, well, hey, anything we can do helps. Well, it says that it's supposed to be a sleep aid for white people. And also I have a whole article on this particular melatonin. It's supposed to be a sleep aid for white people. So I got some, and every black person that I gave some, it keep them up. One sister from Jackson, she took some, couldn't go to sleep. And so what it does to white people, to put them down or to give them a sleep aid, it actually picks us up. Well, my sister she took some, and she said that her third eye jumped open in the goddess segment. She saw the goddess segment. A couple of other people have taken some and have multiple dreams. Now, I don't dream nothing for some reason. I started taking these things, and I started having multiple dreams. So this is another thing. You can get that, I think they sell it down at Life Essentials. They had some. I don't know if they sold out now, because I put the word out, and a few people went and got some. But anyway, this is some other stuff that we need to start doing also, too, to catch some of this juice. But like I said, there's a lot of things that's going on, and I'm going to get to this, because we're going to, once I go into this particular science, we're going to go into what happened from April the 4th to April the 10th. On one of my tapes, I think it was Set Typhon 4, I told you that April the 4th to April the 10th was supposed to be a cosmic doorway that was opening up in time, and the last time that kind of energy was on the earth was 90,000 years ago. Well, this is the first time I've been back to Atlanta to explain the whole detail, so we're going to go into that at a certain point, too, because there was a certain amount of brothers and sisters that went to the Pinson Mounds in Jackson, Tennessee, and we unleashed this native, I don't want to say Native American, I say native indigenous spirit called Thunderdog. He is the angelic counterpart, or he is the native, let's say, we put the word native indigenous person in this hemisphere, native westerner. He is the native westerner counterpart of the god Heru. So we unleashed this thing, and he gave us some juice and gave us everything we need, and he's also came back to Atlanta with us. Now, these are things that's in the spirit realm. Now, I know some of this thing might sound spooky, but remember, just like I told one of the brothers in the nation, every time, I bill on all this, and he get down with it. But every time I started going into things in the spiritual realm, he started laughing. I said, now, see, you contradicting yourself. Now, I remember back in 1991, you had to take on about 15 brothers out there. Intellectuals in the Afrocentric community, where you told them that the black man and black woman was God. And you bared witness, and you had to take on all these people, and they all laughed at you. How can you be a God and let a devil rule over you? And the whole 9 yards. I said, now, when it comes to bearing witness, and we got the full manifestation of black people going back into their godhoods, you don't want to deal with it. And I said, I can understand, because the Christian religion has made a mockery out of everything that they call divine revelation. We got so many doggone preachers talking about God told me this and God told me that. So they have made this thing they have messed it up completely. So when the Jews start coming, we don't really know whether the brothers and sisters are really on it or not. You say, I really can't believe those things. For the simple fact, we got so many people coming to us telling us this is what's happening and that is what's happening. One of the main keys is how you can be true to your own spirit is if anybody is telling you to follow them, those are the people to get away from at this particular time and circle. You don't supposed to be following nobody but yourselves, because you are the actual Elohim that's going to put this stuff back on. They say the 144,000. The 144,000 is actually, the 144,000 is not 144,000 people left over. That's crazy. Because in that case, we'll be out of that shot, because they got people, indigenous people around the world that live more spiritual than we do. Now, I'm not talking about them crazy fools over in Africa, this. And when I say that, I'm talking about, because they call us crazy, I'm saying I'm not talking about the ones that has been into what you call colonization and then come over here and say we still pure Africans. They have been brainwashed like everything too, but I'm talking about the indigenous people in South America and the indigenous people around the world who still live a harmonious life. There's over 100,000 of them, so why can't they get on the ships first? You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't even make that cut just by bad thought, even if we tried to be the best we could be. But we got 80 million black people in Brazil alone. So the 144,000 does not just mean 144. Yeah, we got 40 to 60 million black people here now. They say it's about 60 million because we don't know what they can count. You say they say the census, you know, if they tell you one thing, you might as well add a couple of million to that. You see what I'm saying? Based on population purposes. But we have about 60 million black people here alone. All of what is. They want all the knowledge and they want all that's coming to them, but they want it inside of America that don't want to fall. See, that's not going to fall. See, they want to get all of this juice. And then they want to have the juice and keep on going and keep this society going. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't have the cake and eat it too. Something has got to leave. Number one, we know that they got to tear down these buildings because the white man, based on New York, Chicago, and all these places, is he tried to imitate Hemmitt. So, based on Hemmitt, everything being from spiritual to physical, they didn't even take a plan, not unless it was spiritually thought out, until they built. Based on that, they tried to copy Hemmitt, and all they just started doing was building. So therefore, they got all these tall buildings on the earth, and now they got a wobble in the earth based on these buildings, because these buildings are just like man-made mountains. Remember, Nostradamus said a city with man-made mountains will be under attack in the whole 9 yards. He was talking about New York City. But the whole key to that whole thing is that it's got a wobble in the earth because the actual buildings and stuff has got the earth out of balance. So that means you have to tear down this civilization. So what we think of as beautiful architecture and all is actually a destruction, and it's against all laws of nature. So therefore, like I said before, Brother Raw Neff Armin Ra came here and on the radio called me this doomsday prophet. You see what I'm saying? We got to be aware of these doomsday prophets. And my point is this. With the hell that our people are catching, like I said, the hell that our people are catching, why wouldn't somebody in their right mind want this to be over? If this is the doggone system that's keeping our people down, and we know that the only way this system is going to be over, the white man ain't going to just go, okay, we're going to let you do what you want, it's to fall. So now you're going to tell me, you know the only way the cracker is going to get up off of this is through physical annihilation, both with the skin cancer that's killing his behind and both with the ships. And like the brother said that they built, it was $9 billion that they put in the Hubble telescope, not just to watch and take no pictures of no stars. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, why wouldn't you want this to end? That's the key I want to make. You understand what I'm saying? My other thing is this here. Why don't you talk about the doggone beast that's keeping your people? Didn't Jesus do it? Didn't Jesus say, be ye as I am, or be like me, be perfect as I am? So therefore, why wouldn't you speak out against injustice, right? You understand? Why would you? I mean, it's too late in the game to sit up and try to code stuff when the white boys is even talking about the New World Order. They got out books. They even put it in their movies. And then we still something they're talking about. Well, I don't get into all of that. You understand what I'm saying? What is this? I don't get into all of this. I don't believe in the motherships. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Ben telling everybody he don't believe in the ships. Oh, I don't believe in the ships. But yet he's supposed to have 360 degrees of knowledge in the mystery system. Well, see, I wouldn't be one to sit up and talk about that if I didn't know what I was talking about, because I would be from the outside looking in. So therefore, I said I wouldn't know what Dr. Ben and them got in the so-called mystery system that they supposed to have put together. You see what I'm saying? That he gonna tell people, if I see a spaceship, I'll run. You see, I don't know what he would have in his particular mystery system. But then again, I'm not one from the outside in. They stripped me naked in spring of 1990, in the summer of 1991, and I went over in Dr. Ben's so-called mystery system. You see what I'm saying? Right here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta branch and all. I know they got the Hunefa Lodge in New York City. They got the Ramesses Lodge in New York City. I also went to a consecration to a lodge in Washington, D.C., who Tony Browder is a part of. And the point I'm trying to make is this whole 360 degrees of knowledge, and I don't believe in ships. Where even in your Bible it says Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the sky. And most Christians can bear witness to that. You see what I'm saying? But see, the whole key to that is nothing else but an Afrocentric version of Masonry. Now, it would be bad if he said, well, listen, we got Prince Hall Masonry, which we ain't got nothing but some black people drinking liquor and driving cabs. I can understand that. If he said, we got Prince Hall Masonry, we got 2 million Prince Hall Masons, and out of 2 million Prince Hall Masons are supposed to know this particular knowledge that they don't want to give up to my secrets. Out of those 2 million Masons, we still in all this doggone trouble. And that ain't including the other lodges that's outside of Prince Hall. It's the Black Lodge. You know, Smooth, Ashler, and all this stuff. I'm a Mason. I know what I'm talking about. I can understand if he said, well, we want to do an Afrocentric version to put the liberation into it and try to use some of these keys. But don't tell people that this is the actual mystery system that was never folded. It was still going on in Kemet, which is a doggone lie. You see what I'm saying? Which is a lie, because I know what I'm saying, because I was a member of that. You see. And what happened was it would have been a beautiful organization, but once you told people that you got 360 degrees of knowledge, then you tell them this is the ancient mystery system that never